Chapter 1733. Blood Origin Pill Sage smiled and said, Palace Master Long, you have indeed chosen the Een Wind Stone. Een Wind Stone is a waste stone among the Chaos Stones. Most of them have many holes in them. The Een Wind Stone has no value. Therefore, it is impossible to cut out a treasure. Why don't you choose another one? The Blood Essence Pill Saint had personally allowed Ling Xiao to choose another Chaos Stone. Suddenly, everyone's face was full of admiration. Gambling on stones was just like gambling. As the saying goes, once you've made a bet, you can't go back on it. Blood Yuan Dan Saint had allowed Ling Xiao to choose another stone. His generosity was admirable. However, the Blood Yuan Pill Saint allowed Ling Xiao to choose again because he believed that with Ling Xiao's level, it would be impossible for him to find a better Chaos Stone even if he chose another one. Therefore, he was not worried at all. The crowd did not know this. There's no need. I'll choose this Een Wind Stone. As for whether there will be treasures in it, it's not up to me or you to decide. We'll see the results after we cut it out. Ling Xiao said calmly. Everyone was stunned and looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at an idiot. The Blood Essence Pill Saint had already said that this was the Een Wind Stone. The Blood Essence Pill Saint had also promised that Ling Xiao could choose another one. In the end, this guy was so stubborn that he had to choose this Een Wind Stone. Was he courting death? You're courting death. Arrogant. Young Master Yunyang and Wang Dao both sneered. My martial granduncle Long, even if I beg you, can't you change it to another Chaos Stone? Why do you have to go against the Een Wind Stone? Gao Yang was about to go crazy as he transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. They had all heard of the Een Wind Stone before and did not believe that there would be any treasures in it. However, Ling Xiao was still stubborn and did not want to choose another Chaos Stone. Gao Yang had developed a lot of resentment towards Ling Xiao. Trust me. Ling Xiao only said 3 words and ignored him. All right. Since Palace Master Long is so confident, this old man really wants to see what treasures can be cut out of this Een Wind Stone. Why don't we cut out your Een Wind Stone first? The Blood Essence Pill Saint's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Let's cut out your Chaos Stone first. I'm afraid that when I cut out a treasure from my Een Wind Stone, you won't have any chance. Ling Xiao said calmly. When everyone heard this, the corners of their mouths twitched. They were completely defeated by Ling Xiao. They were all screaming in their hearts, wanting to ask Ling Xiao, where did you get your confidence from? Being able to cut out a treasure from the Een Wind Stone was no different from the sun rising from the west. How arrogant! Ignorant! Arrogant! In an instant, Ling Xiao was labeled by the crowd with countless labels. The Blood Origin Pill Sage was speechless. Alright, let's cut the Chaos Stone I chose first. Everyone, please bear witness. Even Blood Yuan Pill Saint did not know where Ling Xiao's confidence came from. If he had not been sure that Ling Xiao had chosen a Een Wind Stone, he would have doubted his judgment. Wang! Under the stone-cutting man's actions, the Blood Origin Pill Saint's primordial Chaos Stone began to peel off its stone skin. Soon, it emitted a bright light. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I've only peeled off a layer of stone, and there's already such a terrifying phenomenon. It looks like a unique treasure has been born from within the Chaos Stone. Someone said excitedly, his body trembling uncontrollably. Under the stone skin, a bright light bloomed. It was filled with a vast and mysterious sage aura, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Blood Yuan Pill Saint's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Although he was sure that a treasure could be cut out from the Chaos Stone, he was not sure what kind of treasure it would be. Now that he saw such a phenomenon, his heart calmed down. It looked like a unique treasure had indeed been born from this Chaos Stone. Rumble. Powerful sage aura spread out, and blazing runes rose. The phenomenon became more and more shocking, and the anticipation in everyone's eyes became more and more intense. When the stone-cutting man finally cut open the Chaos Stone, a divine light shot up into the sky, blooming with a dazzling light. A silver eye hovered in the void. It looked mysterious and ancient, and it shot out a series of profound runes, causing the surrounding sky to tremble slightly. "This is a flawless sage treasure," someone exclaimed, and his breathing instantly became a little hurried. A flawless sage treasure was a supreme treasure that only sages were qualified to control. Even many sage-to-be experts were not qualified to own a flawless sage treasure. This silver eye made people's scalp tingle. It looked very ancient and mysterious, as if it contained a power that could pierce through people's hearts. "This is the soul-destroying godly eye." Blood Yuan Pill Saint seemed to have thought of something. His eyes lit up, and he suddenly became excited. Soul-destroying godly eye. Could it be a treasure made by the soul-destroying sage in ancient times? It's said to be an extremely vicious one-time treasure that can destroy a person's divine soul. This. Although it's not a flawless sage treasure, its value is not below that of a flawless sage treasure. Ji Tian, who was originally calm and indifferent, could not help but light up at this moment. His voice was filled with excitement. Yes, it's the soul-destroying godly eye. However, it's a pity that this soul-destroying godly eye is only silver. It can kill experts below the sage realm, even if it's a 9th revolution half-saint's divine soul. If it's a golden soul-destroying godly eye, it can even kill a real sage. Blood Yuan Pill Saint said slowly, with a trace of regret in his eyes. He was a 9th revolution half-saint. If it was a golden soul-destroying godly eye, it would naturally be of great use to him. However, the silver soul-destroying godly eye was of little use to him. It's a pity. However, this soul-destroying godly eye alone is worth at least 1,000,000 drops of saint liquid. Ji Tian nodded and said. Ji Tian, Lu Yun and Wang Dao quickly regained their composure. The silver soul-extinguishing godly pupil wasn't of great value to them. However, the eyes of the others lit up. This was especially true for some low-level half-saints. This soul-extinguishing godly pupil was simply the most precious treasure and trump card for self-defense. Even a 9th revolution half-saint wouldn't dare to act rashly with it. Soul-destroying godly eye. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He felt that the soul-destroying godly eye was floating in the void, but the wordless heavenly book was trembling slightly. It seemed that this soul-destroying godly eye was very important to the wordless heavenly book. However, what was the use of a mere silver soul-destroying godly eye to the wordless heavenly book? Could it be that this soul-destroying godly eye had other secrets? Ling Zhao could not help but be moved in his heart. Palace Master Long, it's your turn to cut the stone now. Blood Yuan Pill Saint said slowly. Although he was a little disappointed, he was not worried at all. This was because even if he only cut out the silver soul-destroying godly eye, it could be said that he had already won. After all, it was impossible to cut out a treasure from the Yin Wind Stone. Don't worry, the Chaos Stone I choose will not disappoint you, Blood Yuan Pill Saint. Ling Zhao said with a faint smile. There was no trace of worry in his eyes. Pretentious. Chapter 1734. The stonecutter walked up and was about to cut the stone but was stopped by Ling Zhao. Let me do it. Ling Zhao said with a faint smile. Then, he walked to the front of the huge stone. His whole body was filled with qi and blood. Then, he threw out a punch. The terrifying fist imprinted on the stone, and immediately, the stone broke into pieces. This guy actually cut the stone like that? Everyone's eyes widened, their faces filled with disbelief. Who wouldn't be careful when cutting a stone? They were afraid of damaging the treasure inside. After all, no one knew what was inside the Chaos Stone. However, Ling Zhao was so violent. He actually shattered the Yin Wind Stone with a single punch. Everyone burst into laughter when they saw the shattered stones on the ground. Ha ha ha. This is too funny. There's really nothing inside the Yin Wind Stone. Is Long Outyin an idiot? I was shocked by his actions. Now, it seems like he's just playing to the gallery. Sigh, how disappointing. The war god temple actually let such a person become the war god temple master. It seems like the war god temple has really declined. Everyone was not stingy with their mocking and ridiculing. Their eyes were filled with disdain. The Blood Origin Pill Saint smiled faintly and said, Hall Master Long, it seems like I can only say that you went easy on me. However, Hall Master Long was stubborn and chose a Wind stone. Although it was just a stone bet between you and me, I'm afraid it's a huge loss of face for the War God Temple. You went easy on me. Do you really think you've won? Ling Xiao looked at the Blood Origin Pill Saint with a faint smile. Long Outyen, could it be that you can't afford to lose? You chose the Wind stone yourself. Now that the Wind stone has been shattered by you, there's nothing inside. You clearly lost. What other tricks are you trying to play? Young Master Yunyang sneered. Senior Long, your every action represents the War God Temple. Don't let the War God Temple become a laughing stock. Ji Tian smiled faintly. Everyone was waiting to see Ling Xiao make a fool of himself. Now, the War God Temple had become a laughing stock. Even Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were a little anxious. They couldn't tell what Long Outyen was trying to do, but they could tell that the War God Temple was going to become a joke. Ling Xiao's expression remained calm, as though he did not take the mockery and ridicule of the crowd to heart. He scanned the crowd and said, Who said I lost? You blind things, do you even know what stone gambling is? Today, let me show you what real stone gambling is. Ling Xiao instantly became incomparably arrogant. Everyone could not help but be stunned. Rumble. Ling Xiao walked in front of the Wind stones and threw another punch. The Wind stones turned into dust, but a black stone appeared in front of everyone. The black stone seemed to have strange patterns on its surface. The runes were mysterious and unfathomable. It was as if demonic energy was overflowing from it. It was also enshrouded in a faint chaotic energy. It was incomparably strange. This is a stone within a chaos stone. The stone-cutting man exclaimed. His whole body was trembling, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Stone of chaos stones? What's that? Everyone's eyes were filled with confusion. However, they instinctively felt that something was wrong. This stone seemed to be extraordinary. Wasn't that a Wind stone? Why was there a chaos stone in it? Stone within a chaos stone. I've heard that this seems to be man-made. Legend has it that there were extremely precious chaos stones in ancient times. In order to prevent them from being cut open, someone used the Wind stone as a disguise. Could it be that there's some earth-shattering supreme treasure in this chaos stone? An old man said slowly. There was a hint of excitement in his eyes. This is the real chaos stone. Cut it open. Ling Xiao said indifferently and threw the black stone to the stone-cutting man. Yes. Don't worry, Palace Master Long. I promise that I won't damage the treasure in it. The stone-cutting man looked as if he had obtained a precious treasure and immediately said to Ling Xiao solemnly. To be able to cut out a chaos stone within a chaos stone was a supreme honor for the stone-cutting man. Therefore, this stone-cutting man cut the stone with a feeling of pilgrimage. He was extremely solemn and serious, not daring to relax at all. Yun Yang, Ji Chen, Wang Dao, and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saints' faces turned extremely ugly in an instant. Stone within a chaos stone. How is this possible? The Blood Origin Alchemy Saint muttered to himself. The Wind stone was the most common among chaos stones. Although it was rumored that ancient experts used the Wind stone to disguise the precious chaos stone, that was only a legend. No one had ever seen it before. Who would have thought that it would appear in front of them now? Everyone's expression became embarrassed. They were just mocking Ling Xiao, but in the end, they were all extinguished. Each of them felt their faces burning. This time, their faces were about to be slapped swollen by Ling Xiao. So what if it's a chaos stone within a chaos stone? The treasure inside might not be more precious than Master's soul destroyer godly eye. Yun Yang said with a cold laugh. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he immediately regretted it. Everyone looked at Yun Yang as if they were looking at an idiot. That was the stone of the Chaos Stones. For someone to use the Yin Wind Stone as a counterfeit, and for it to be so perfect without any flaws, there must be an earth-shattering treasure hidden within. How could it be inferior to the Soul Destroyer Divine Eye? At this moment, everyone was silent. No one dared to say another word, afraid that they would be slapped in the face by Ling Xiao again. Buzz! As the stone cutter slowly peeled off the surface of the stone, a resplendent light blossomed from the black stone. It was as dazzling as the rising sun. Nectar seeped out from it, giving off an extremely strange fragrance. It made people feel intoxicated just by smelling it. What? What kind of treasure is that? Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling. Crack! The Chaos Stone split into two halves, and there seemed to be a misty world spreading out from it. There were tens of thousands of rays of light, and thousands of auspicious colors. The mysterious runes caused the void to tremble. Sparkling liquid flowed out, and a mysterious figure appeared in it. It was a small white beast that looked to be only the size of a palm. Its fur was pure white and flawless, exuding a sparkling luster. It had a pair of pure big eyes that were filled with curiosity. When it blinked, it was as if the sun and moon were born and destroyed appeared. It was incomparably mysterious. Whoosh! The small beast instantly turned into a stream of light and floated out from the Chaos Stone. Its body instantly bloomed with a blazing divine light. It suddenly opened its mouth, and a vast devouring vortex spread out in an instant. Boom! The heaven and earth in all directions began to tremble. A vast amount of heaven and earth energy gushed out and surged into the small white beast's mouth. A vast divine light bloomed, making it look even more mysterious. What kind of creature is that? How could it be born from the Chaos Stone? Everyone was extremely puzzled, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Chapter 1735. The white little beast floated in the void. Its body was surrounded by resplendent rays of light. Its fur was pure white and flawless. Its pair of pure white big eyes looked innocent and pure, clear and translucent. And the sea of vitality that filled the sky was surging towards it, causing its aura to become even more vigorous. The little white beast seemed to be surrounded by a white ocean that contained a majestic vitality, causing the surrounding world to tremble violently. It was as if all the vitality between heaven and earth had gathered on the little white beast. This little beast. This is, G Sky suddenly trembled all over, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Your Highness G Sky, do you know this little beast? Blood Origin Alchemy Saint asked. He was extremely shocked because even he didn't recognize the origin of this little white beast. However, the appearance of this little white beast was extremely shocking. If I'm not wrong, this little white beast is very likely the legendary Life Source Beast. G Sky lowered his voice and said with great excitement. Life Source Beast. Could it be the sacred beast under the Life Empress in ancient times? Legend has it that it is immortal and controls the origin of life. However, the great calamity of ancient times was too tragic. Countless powerhouses fell, and the Life Source Beast and the Life Empress disappeared in the endless years. Blood Origin Alchemy Saint was also shocked. He knew a little about the origin of the Great Zhou Divine Kingdom. According to legend, the ancestor of the Great Zhou Divine Kingdom had a supreme empress who was peerless in her generation. She was the Life Empress. The Life Empress controlled the Life Heavenly Tao and was immortal. She also had a Life Source Beast under her. Not only was it extremely powerful, but it would also never die. No matter how serious its injuries were, it would be able to recover in an instant. It was rumored that the blood of the Life Source Beast was known as the Life Source Blood. It contained the power of the origin of life and was comparable to a supreme sacred pill that could prolong one's life. Even a saint who was nearing the end of his lifespan could instantly restore his majestic lifespan if he took a drop. It's very possible. I once saw a portrait in my clan's forbidden area. The aura of the life source beast is very similar to this little white beast. Blood origin alchemy saint, I must get hold of this little white beast. When the time comes, I will definitely be able to obtain the life secret technique and even the inheritance of the life empress. Uncle, please lend me a hand. G. Sky said seriously, his eyes filled with a blazing look. He had absolute trust in the blood origin pill sage. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told this secret to the blood origin pill sage. This was because no one knew that the blood origin pill sage had another identity. He was Ji Tian's uncle. Tian, don't worry. This little white beast is yours, no one can take it. Flipping the sky seal. Of an ant. The blood origin alchemy saint transmitted his voice. The identity between the two of them was very important, and it could not be revealed. Ling Xiao only sensed that the little white beast was full of life aura, which was very similar to the ancient tree of life's aura. The wordless heavenly book was trembling violently, as if it couldn't wait to swallow the little white beast. However, the wordless heavenly book was suppressed by Ling Xiao. This was no ordinary creature. It would be a waste if it was swallowed by the wordless heavenly book just like that. Ling Xiao, this little white beast, is a life source beast. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao. She couldn't hide the excitement and joy in her voice. A life source beast? Ling Xiao asked curiously. He had never heard of the origin of a life source beast. The life source beast is the life empress life-bound beast. It's very important to us. With it, we don't even need to wait for the Musashi Mountain to open. The Musashi Mountain was left behind by the life empress. Following Ji Feishuan's explanation, Ling Xiao gradually understood how powerful the life source beast was. This life source beast was not like the four sacred beasts, dragon, phoenix, black tortoise, and white tiger, who had powerful clans and were once the overlords of heaven and earth. Instead, it was a little similar to the divine sky-mend butterfly. It was born from heaven and earth and raised by nature. It was extremely difficult for it to reproduce, but it had an incomparably terrifying innate talent. Don't worry. No one can take away the treasure I cut out. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes full of sharpness. He took a deep look at Ji Tian and the blood origin pill saint in the distance, because he could see that there was a trace of burning light in their eyes. Could it be that Ji Tian and the blood origin pill saint had also recognized the origin of the life source beast? Lord Blood Origin Pill Saint, what kind of creature is this little beast? Do you know it? Someone finally couldn't help but ask. Everyone was very curious. Perhaps the Blood Origin Pill Saint was the only one who knew the origin of this mysterious little beast. The Blood Origin Pill Saint's eyes flashed. The little white beast was still floating in the void, devouring the energy of heaven and earth. Its aura was getting stronger and stronger, but it was only comparable to a deity realm expert. However, its life aura was very rich and mysterious, and it looked like a life source beast in its infancy. The Blood Origin Pill Saint was slightly relieved. He then said slowly, "This is a prehistoric white spirit beast that was almost lost in the ancient times. Its body contains a boundless life force. When it reaches adulthood, its flesh and blood can be used to refine saint elixirs that can prolong one's life. However, the white spirit beast grows slowly and needs to devour all kinds of natural treasures. It will take at least 10,000 years for it to reach adulthood. This white spirit beast is only in its infancy, so it's not very valuable. If you sell it to me, I can give you 500,000 drops of saint elixir." So, it's a white spirit beast. I've also heard that the white spirit beast is a prehistoric variant. Its flesh and blood can be used to refine life-prolonging pills, but it's only useful for experts below the saint realm. Although a white spirit beast in its infancy is rare, it's not very valuable. Someone suddenly realized that the white spirit beast was a prehistoric variant. Although it was rare to see, it was not unheard of in the deity world. Some people had heard of its origin. A white spirit beast in its infancy was indeed not very valuable. The Blood Origin Pill Saint is really generous. I think this white spirit beast is not even worth 100,000 drops of Saint Elixir. The Blood Origin Pill Saint is willing to pay 500,000 drops of Saint Elixir. This kid is really lucky. Tisk tsk. 500 drops of Saint Elixir for the Een Wind Stone. He can actually get a white spirit beast. This Long Out Yen is really lucky. Yes, it must be luck. 500,000 drops of Saint Elixir is a 1,000-fold increase. I'm afraid this kid is going crazy with joy. Hee, so what if it's a 1,000-fold increase? The Blood Origin Pill Saint and Long Out Yen are gambling stones. The loser has to agree to one condition of the winner. Long Out Yen has already lost. No matter how precious the white spirit beast is, it's not as precious as the soul-extinguishing divine eye. The Blood Origin Pill Saint wants the white spirit beast. Long Out Yen can't do anything about it. Chapter 1736. Everyone was rejoicing in Ling Xiao's misfortune. Just a moment ago, they were saying that no treasure could be found in the Een Wind Stone. In the end, Ling Xiao actually managed to find a white spirit beast. This was like a slap to their faces. At this moment, they were rejoicing in Ling Xiao's misfortune. It was as if they wanted to take revenge on Ling Xiao. White spirit beast. This Shui Yuanzi is simply shameless. He actually called the life source beast a white spirit beast. His ability to misrepresent a deer as a horse is really brilliant. Ji Feishuan was immediately enraged. She had a calm temperament and rarely argued with others. However, the Blood Origin Elixir Saint's shamelessness had completely enraged her. This was also because the white spirit beast looked very similar to the life source beast in appearance and exuded a strong aura of life. Ordinary people would not be able to tell the difference, let alone know about the life source beast. In addition, they worshipped and trusted the Blood Origin Elixir Saint, so they naturally believed what he said. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he sneered, Shui Yuanzi is indeed shameless. However, I'm afraid that Crown Prince Ji Tian has recognized the origin of the life source beast and wants to get it. That's why he dares to misrepresent a deer as a horse. Don't worry, I'd like to see how they can take the life source beast from me. A trace of tyrannical killing intent emerged in Ling Xiao's heart. He really did not care about Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Elixir Saint. At worst, he would flip the table and use the flipping sky seal to kill this group of shameless people. Then, he would kill his way out of Tiandu City. Ling Xiao really wanted to see if anyone in Tiandu City could stop him. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint glanced at Ling Xiao and smiled faintly. Temple Master Long is really good. I didn't expect that a treasure could be found in the Een Wind Stone. It seems that I was wrong. This time, I can only say that you let me win the stone bet. However, I won't take advantage of you. I like this white spirit beast very much. If you give it to me, I'm willing to compensate you with 500,000 drops of Saint Liquid. What do you think? In the Blood Origin Pill Saint's opinion, Ling Xiao definitely wouldn't recognize a life source beast. He had won the stone gambling bet with Ling Xiao. His condition was the white spirit beast, and he had even given Ling Xiao 500,000 drops of sacred liquid. Ling Xiao would definitely accept his offer and then go along with it. 500,000 drops of Saint Liquid? The Blood Essence Pill Saint was truly righteous. You clearly won the stone bet with Long Out Yen, but you're still willing to give him 500,000 drops of holy elixir. I'm really impressed by your generosity. Someone exclaimed, his eyes full of admiration. In their opinion, the Blood Origin Elixir Saint had won the stone gambling, but he had only asked for the white spirit beast. Ling Xiao had nothing to say, but the Blood Origin Elixir Saint was still willing to give Ling Xiao 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Long Out Yen, hurry up and bring Bai Ling out. Master is willing to give you 500,000 drops of holy liquid. That's a bargain for you. Ji Chen and Yun Yang said with a look of jealousy. Everyone's gaze landed on Ling Xiao. They all thought that Ling Xiao would definitely hand over the white spirit beast. Rumble. At this moment, a dazzling light bloomed in the void. The white spirit beast devoured all the energy of heaven and earth in an instant, and it looked even more intelligent and mysterious. Its beautiful big eyes were clear, but there was a hint of confusion at this moment. Suddenly, it turned into a stream of light and landed on Ji Feishuan's shoulder. It hugged Ji Feishuan intimately, and a clear childish voice came out of its mouth. It sounded like a 4- or 5-year-old child. "Mother." Everyone was stunned. "Can the white spirit beast speak?" Someone asked doubtfully. This white spirit beast was too cute. Many pretty female disciples looked at it with admiration and envy. They couldn't wait to hug it in their arms and dote on it. "It should be," someone said with uncertainty. Although they had never heard of a white spirit beast being able to speak, they still believed in the blood origin elixir saint's words. Cough cough. "Everyone, this white spirit beast has high spiritual intelligence. That's why it can speak when it's still young. That's why I'm willing to give you 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Otherwise, an ordinary white spirit beast would only be worth 100,000 drops of holy liquid." The blood origin elixir saint coughed lightly and hurriedly explained. When the life source beast called out, "Mother," it gave him and Ji Tian a big fright. If his words were exposed, they would be in big trouble. Ji Tian, in particular, revealed a hint of jealousy in his eyes. He didn't expect the life source beast to be so intimate with Ji Feishuan. At this moment, he seriously looked at Ji Feishuan and suddenly felt that she was somewhat familiar, as if he had seen her somewhere before. "I see. This white spirit beast is really cute." Everyone suddenly realized why the blood origin elixir saint would give Ling Xiao so much holy liquid. It turned out that the white spirit beast had high spiritual intelligence. They admired the blood origin elixir saint's magnanimity even more. He was so open and upright, so righteous. He was truly worthy of being the elixir saint of Pill Talisman Mountain. "Palace Master Long, here are 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Please give me the white spirit beast." The blood origin elixir saint was afraid that a long delay would lead to trouble. If the white spirit beast called out a few more times, he would really be exposed. Therefore, he hurriedly handed Ling Xiao a purple golden gourd containing 500,000 drops of holy liquid. He then reached out to grab the life source beast. Ling Xiao didn't reach out to take the purple golden gourd. His eyes were full of ridicule as he said with a faint smile, "Who told you that it's a white spirit beast? Blood origin elixir saint, although your ability to misrepresent a deer as a horse is not small, do you really think that I don't know its origin?" Ling Xiao's voice was very calm, causing the blood origin elixir saint's hand to freeze instantly. Everyone was stunned. The blood origin elixir saint had already said that it was a white spirit beast, and everyone had confirmed it. What was Long Outyan trying to do now? The blood origin elixir saint's heart couldn't help but sink. The thing he was most worried about had happened. However, he still said calmly, "Palace Master Long, this is indeed a white spirit beast." Everyone saw it very clearly. "You lost the stone gambling bet between you and this old man. I was kind enough to give you another 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Even if you don't appreciate it, you don't have to slander me like this, do you? Long Outyan, do you still have any shame? As the saying goes, if you agree to bet, you must accept defeat. Is the war god temple really a sore loser?" Yun Yang sneered. "That's right. Long Outyan, you clearly lost the stone bet this time. The blood origin elixir saint is righteous and still gave you 500,000 drops of holy liquid. How dare you frame the blood origin elixir saint? If this isn't a white spirit beast, what else can it be?" Wang Dao also said coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Chapter 1737. Everyone was filled with righteous indignation as they looked at Ling Xiao with unkind eyes. Every one of them was burning with anger. In their hearts, Ling Xiao had become a despicable person. The blood essence alchemy saint was so magnanimous and bold, but Ling Xiao not only did not appreciate it but also made false accusations. In their hearts, Ling Xiao immediately became a synonym for despicable and shameless. In an instant, everyone at the prodigy banquet was targeting Ling Xiao. The blood essence alchemy saint's compassionate look naturally occupied the name of righteousness. Even Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang looked at Ling Xiao with some confusion. They did not know what he was doing. Shut up. Ling Xiao's face suddenly turned cold as he scolded everyone. His voice was like rolling thunder, instantly suppressing everyone's discussion. Everyone could not help but be stunned. What do you know? A bunch of ignorant and stupid things. Do you really think this is a white spirit beast? Blood essence alchemy saint, even a life source beast can be called a white spirit beast by you. You are really shameless. This time, I clearly won the stone gambling. You inverted black and white, pointing at a deer as a horse, but you still pretend to be righteous and awe-inspiring. You are really disgusting. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably sharp, and his voice was impassioned. He swept his gaze over everyone and finally landed on the blood essence alchemy saint and Ji Tian. His eyes were full of disdain and cold laughter. What is a life source beast? Everyone was shocked by Ling Xiao's words, but there were still some people who understood the meaning behind Ling Xiao's words. This white little beast was not a white spirit beast, but a life source beast. However, they had never heard of a life source beast. Ridiculous. What life source beast? I have never heard of it. Long Outyen, even if you want to make up a story, can't you make it more believable? You are framing me with a glib tongue. I think you are the one who is truly inverting black and white. If you don't explain it clearly today, I will let your blood splatter on the spot. The blood essence alchemy saint was furious, his eyes filled with cold killing intent. A terrifying aura rose around him, and the pressure of a ninth revolution half-saint spread out, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently as it pressed down on Ling Xiao and the others. That's right. I've never heard of any life source beasts. Everyone, please don't be fooled by Long Outyen. I think he's just angry because he can't afford to lose. Ji Tian said in exasperation. He couldn't figure out how Ling Xiao knew about life source beasts. Life source beasts were a secret to begin with. Even in the Ji clan, very few people knew about life source beasts. Princes like Ji Chen didn't even know anything about them, so he was still in a state of confusion. That's right. This Long Outyen is a sore loser. How can the War God Temple let such a person become the War God Temple's master? How dare he slander the Blood Yuan Elixir Saint? We must not let him go. Kneel down and apologize. Long Outyen, if you don't apologize, I'll let you bleed here today. Everyone was infuriated by Ling Xiao's words. Their spittle flew everywhere, and some of them even wanted to attack Ling Xiao. Mother, these people are so stupid. Little White is clearly a life source beast, so why are they calling me a white spirit beast? How can an idiot like the white spirit beast be compared to a noble life source beast? At that moment, the life source beast lying on Ji Feishuan's body spoke. It blinked its big, curious eyes, and its gaze was incomparably clear. Everyone was dumbfounded. This little white beast actually admitted that it was a white spirit beast. The Blood Yuan Elixir Saint hurriedly said, Everyone, don't listen to its nonsense. Long Outyen must have used some method to instigate the white spirit beast to lie. Ji Tian also said coldly, That's right. A white spirit beast is a white spirit beast. Long Outyen, your actions today are destined to make the War God Temple lose face. The 9 Imperial Obelisk will also be ashamed of you, noisy. Ling Xiao sneered and interrupted Ji Tian. Ignoring the latter's fiery eyes, he said, The life source beast is the life-bound beast of the Life Empress. The Life Empress is the ancestor of the Ji clan, a supreme emperor of ancient times. Everyone, go back and check the ancient books. You should be able to find some clues. Life source beasts are born from heaven and earth, nurtured by the sun and moon. They are supreme existences favored by fate. How can a lowly bloodline like the white spirit beast compare to them? As Ling Xiao spoke, Whitey proudly raised its little head and stared at everyone with its big, clear eyes. It looked very cute. Ji Tian and Blood Yuan, in order to obtain the life source beast, you didn't hesitate to call a deer a horse and distort the truth. You said that the life source beast is a white spirit beast. Do you have any shame? The 9 Imperial Obelisk and Pill Talisman Mountain have people like you. That's the real shame. Ling Xiao sneered rudely. Only then did Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang realize that the Blood Yuan Elixir Saint was distorting the truth in order to plot against the life source beast. They were all furious. If they really succeeded, then Ling Xiao would really be a sucker, and the War God Temple would truly become the laughingstock of everyone. Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Elixir Saint were simply too much. Blood Yuan Elixir, you bastard Ji Tian, how dare you deceive martial ancestor Long? Shameless dogs, you said that this is a white spirit beast. Do you dare to swear the Great Heart Demon oath? If you lie, you will immediately go berserk and your divine soul will be destroyed. The hot-tempered Gao Yang immediately pointed at the Blood Yuan Elixir Saint and Ji Tian's noses and scolded them. Everyone looked at the Blood Yuan Elixir Saint and Ji Tian Qing's pale faces. They were speechless and didn't dare to swear the Great Heart Demon oath. Suddenly, they understood something. Was this little white beast really a life source beast and not a white spirit beast? After everyone heard about the origin of the life source beast, each and every one of them was astounded. Some of them even revealed a blazing light in their eyes. The life source beast was simply a heaven-defying treasure. With the life source beast by one's side, one wouldn't be injured at all. Moreover, one wouldn't have to worry about the exhaustion of one's lifespan. There would be supreme fortune and opportunity. How could they not be moved? If those sages who were nearing the end of their lifespan heard about the birth of a life source beast, they would probably flock over and fight. Everyone. I'm afraid you still don't know, right? You have all been deceived by Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Elixir. These scraps of the Chaos Stones aren't treasures at all. Most of them are just useless stones. The black-robed young man who cut out the Azure Divine Flower was their accomplice. Moreover, the Chaos Stone that cut out the Azure Divine Flower wasn't a real Chaos Stone. It was a Wanxiang stone that had been tampered with. Ling Xiao sneered and added another heavy blow. Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Elixir Saints' faces instantly changed. Chapter 1738. Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saint did not expect Ling Xiao to see through the mystery of the Nature Stone. What? Everyone was shocked, their eyes filled with disbelief. How is this possible? We saw the Azure God Flower cut out from the Chaos Stone with our own eyes. How could it be the so-called Nature Stone? Most people still did not believe Ling Xiao's words. After all, the Blood Origin Alchemy Saints' prestige was too high in their hearts. However, after the incident with the life source beast, some people began to doubt it. You idiots! Look at what these things are. Gao Yang sneered as he took out all the fragments of the Wanxiang stone that he had collected earlier. Everyone, I suspected that the Chaos Stone that cut out the Azure God Flower was not the real Chaos Stone, so I asked Gao Yang to collect all the fragments. As expected, that Chaos Stone was disguised as the Nature Stone. Look, these fragments still have the aura of the Azure God Flower. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Is it really the Nature Stone? Everyone was shocked, and they all gathered around Gao Yang. They carefully examined the fragments of the Nature Stone that Gao Yang had taken out and found that it was indeed the Chaos Stone that the black-robed youth had cut out from the Azure God Flower. The fragments of the Nature Stone did indeed have the aura of the Azure God Flower. Damn it! Ji Tian's expression became extremely ugly. The Blood Origin Alchemy Saint did not look good either. They had thought that the Nature Stone was enough to pass off as the real thing, so they had let their guard down and did not deal with the fragments of the Nature Stone. They did not expect Ling Xiao to see through it and secretly collect the fragments of the Nature Stone. Now that the evidence was irrefutable, it was difficult for them to refute it. Ji Tian and Blood Origin Alchemy Saint, you really treat everyone like monkeys. You actually used the Nature's Stone to set a trap and lure everyone to buy these useless stones. Don't be fooled by them. These two bastards are not good people at all. Gao Yang sneered, his eyes filled with incomparable joy. I was wondering why I couldn't cut out any treasures when I bought a few chaos stones. It turns out that they are all useless stones. Ji Tian, give me back my saint liquid. What a disappointment. Blood Yuan Pill Sage, I admired you so much, but I didn't expect you to set up a trap to harm everyone. I was wondering how that black-robed youth was able to cut out the Azure Divine Flower the moment he came up. So it was all a trap. Give me back the holy liquid. Everyone was enraged. Their eyes were filled with anger as they glared at Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Pill Saint. Everyone, calm down. Don't let Long Out Yin use you. These were all genuine chaos stones. It was impossible that they were all useless stones. Otherwise, how could Yun Yang, the Blood Essence Alchemy Sage, and Long Out Yin cut out treasures? Stone gambling has always been unpredictable. The so-called Wanxiang stone was only used by Long Out Yin to frame us. Ji Tian hurriedly said. Ling Shao laughed coldly and said, what a colossal joke. Why were Yun Yang and Shui Yuan Pill Sage able to obtain treasures? That's because you cheated. You must have prepared those two chaos stones in advance. I was able to cut out the treasures because you didn't expect there to be treasures in the Yin Wind stones. That's because my eyes are as bright as a torch. What does it have to do with you? That's right. Everyone, don't let them get away. Return all the holy liquid. Wu Xiong and Gao Yang were eager to see the world in chaos, so they fanned the flames from the side. Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Pill Saint were so depressed that they were about to vomit blood. Their eyes were filled with incomparable anger as if they were about to spit fire. Speaking of which, the reason why they faked the Wanxiang stone was to create a heated atmosphere. Although the quality of these chaos stones was not very good, they were not all useless stones. Otherwise, Yun Yang and the Blood Yuan Pill Saint would not have been able to pick out treasures. However, it seemed that no one believed them at all. From the moment the Blood Yuan Pill Saint said that the life source beast was a white spirit beast, to when Ji Tian and the Blood Yuan Pill Saint used the Wanxiang stone to pass it off as chaos stones, these two deceptions had completely caused the crowd to be filled with distrust. Long Out Yin, you've misled the crowd with your lies and framed me. Don't blame me for being impolite today. Formation, rise. Ji Tian shouted sternly. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. A terrifying aura spread out from his body and locked onto Ling Shao. Rumble. The sky of Zhou Tian shook. As soon as Ji Tian's voice fell, the imperial garden shone brightly. Divine chains of order sealed the void. Mysterious runes spread out and erupted with a powerful saint aura. They rose up and shrouded the entire imperial garden. Buzz. The sound of swords resonated in the sky. The surrounding aura became incomparably sharp. Sword chi swept across the void and densely covered the sky. It contained a power fluctuation that could kill everything. This is the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation of the great Zhou divine nation. Someone exclaimed. In an instant, his face became incomparably pale. The De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation was the great Zhou divine nation's saint formation. Its power was unparalleled. It was supported by generations of ancestors and experts of the great Zhou divine nation. It was a super saint formation that was said to be able to kill a saint. No one thought that Ji Tian would fly into a rage out of humiliation and directly activate the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation. Although Ji Tian did not control the Zhou Tian invisible sword and could not fully activate the power of the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation, just a part of the sword formation's power was already terrifying enough. It made everyone's heart palpitate incomparably. What's going on? This is the power of the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation. Who activated the formation's power and actually shrouded the imperial garden? Could it be that an external enemy has invaded? In the heavenly capital, there were also experts who noticed that the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation had been activated. They raised their heads and looked in the direction of the imperial garden. Their eyes were filled with shock and uncertainty. Everyone, please calm down. I did not deceive anyone. This is all Long Outyan's scheme. Wait until I capture him and interrogate him. At that time, the truth will be revealed to the world. Ji Tian said coldly. His gaze swept over everyone. Suddenly, everyone could not help but tremble in their hearts and lower their heads. Ji Tian had the cultivation of an 8-revolution half-saint. His strength was monstrous. At this moment, he directly activated the power of the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation. His entire person seemed to have transformed into a sword saint. His aura was incomparably terrifying and unfathomable. Long Outyan, you're about to die. Why don't you surrender without a fight? The blood origin alchemy saint also sneered, his eyes filled with coldness. The matter of the life source beast was of great importance. Although Ji Tian said that he was activating the De Zhou Tian invisible sword formation to kill Ling Xiao on the surface, in fact, he probably wanted to silence everyone. The news of the life source beast must not be leaked. Ling Xiao bore the brunt of the attack. Naturally, he was the main target of Ji Tian and the blood origin alchemy saint. Their hatred for Ling Xiao had reached the peak. Chapter 1739. Ling Xiao, this is De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array. It was created by the ancestors of the Ji clan and is extremely powerful. It contains hundreds of millions of sword qi that can destroy everything. However, you don't have to worry. Ji Tian doesn't have the Zhou Tian sword and can only control a portion of the array's power. I can take control of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array from him. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao. Great. Don't worry, junior sister Ji. I really want to see how Ji Tian is going to kill me today. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. Ji Tian had revealed his identity and knew that he had the cyclic sky seal. Ling Xiao guessed that Ji Tian probably knew about the battle between Ling Xiao and Huang Tai in the War God Temple. Ji Tian knew that Ling Xiao's combat strength was extraordinary and that he had the cyclic sky seal. If he dared to attack Ling Xiao, it meant that he had something to rely on. He might even have the power to kill Ling Xiao. Otherwise, Ji Tian wouldn't have dared to attack Ling Xiao directly, even if it was for the life source beast. Perhaps, Huang Tai was behind this. Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. He really wanted to see what Ji Tian was relying on and what trump cards he had. Ji Tian, how dare you attack here? Do you really want the War God Temple to raze your De Zhou divine nation to the ground? Ni Shang's expression changed as she looked at Ji Tian coldly. Bastard Ji Tian, don't forget that the War God Temple and the 9 Imperial Obelisk are still allies. You dare to attack the War God Temple Master, which is equivalent to declaring war on the War God Temple. Do you really think that no one can kill you? Gao Yang's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He was completely enraged. They didn't expect Ji Tian to be so crazy. He had actually activated the De Zhou Tian invisible sword array to deal with Ling Xiao during the prodigy's banquet. He had completely infuriated them. Don't worry. I won't kill Long Outyan. I'm just teaching him a lesson. Long Outyan, as long as you kneel down and apologize, say that you're distorting the truth and give me the life source beast, I'll spare your life. How about it? Ji Tian sneered. He stood in the air with his clothes fluttering in the wind. Blazing sword light lingered around him, and numerous runes interweaved, making him seem even more mysterious. He was like a supreme saint who controlled the origin of the sword Dao, and his gaze was as sharp as a blade. Spare my life? Ji Tian, who do you think you are? Come at me if you want to die. Ling Xiao smiled proudly. There was no fear in his eyes as he stared at Ji Tian and Shui Yuan Dan Saint in the air. You're courting death. Kill him. Shui Yuan Pill Saint's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He took the lead and rushed towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. The Blood Yuan Elixir Saint's aura was terrifying. Blood-red flames filled the air, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. It was as if the void was about to burn. In the palm of Shui Yuan Elixir Saint, the blood-red flame turned into a blood-red lion. It roared fiercely in the void and pressed down on Ling Xiao. 10,000 spirits blood flame. I heard that Shui Yuan Elixir Saint's 10,000 spirits blood flame can not only be used to refine elixirs, but it can also burn everything and corrupt weapons. It looks like Long Out Yen is in danger. That's right. Ji Tian has activated De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array and Shui Yuan Elixir Saint's 10,000 spirits blood flame. Even if Long Out Yen has the flipping sky seal, his cultivation is still too weak. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Their eyes were filled with incomparably solemn expressions. Shui Yuan Elixir Saint, how dare you? Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were shocked and furious. Their eyes were filled with anger as they rushed towards Shui Yuan Elixir Saint. Lu Yun and Wang Dao looked at each other, and a cold glint flashed across their eyes. Powerful auras erupted from their bodies, and they charged forward as well. Lu Yun blocked Ni Shang, while Wang Dao blocked Wu Xiong and Gao Yang. Junior sister Ni Shang, don't be nervous. Shui Yuan Elixir Saint is just sparring with Palace Master Long. Why do you have to do it yourself? Lu Yun smiled. He looked gentle, but he blocked Ni Shang's path, not giving her a chance to save Ling Xiao. That's right. Long Out Yen is arrogant and despotic. How dare he offend Shui Yuan Elixir Saint? He deserves to be taught a lesson. Wang Dao also sneered. Get out of my way. Ni Shang's eyes were extremely cold. Powerful sage aura filled the air, and a sky-blue ancient sword appeared in her palm. She slashed it towards Lu Yun. Wang Dao, you bastard. If anything happens to Martial Uncle Long, I'll fight you to the death. Gao Yang also roared furiously. Blazing flames rose around him, making him look like a resplendent sun. Wu Xiong's vital energy surged, and he gave off an ancient aura as he punched towards Wang Dao. In an instant, they started fighting, and they were fighting with real fire. Ling Xiao's eyes were calm and deep as he faced the blood-red lion in the void. However, there was a terrifying aura around him. Shui Yuan, you old dog. Since you want to see the power of the flipping sky seal, I'll give you the chance. Ling Xiao's voice was like a thunderclap that shook the void. In an instant, an immeasurable amount of divine light gushed out from his body. A huge black seal soared into the sky, containing a fluctuation that could destroy everything, and flew towards the blood-colored lion. Boom! The speed of the flipping sky seal was so fast that everyone could only see a black shadow flying out. Then, the blood-red lion in the void suddenly exploded. Heaven and earth shook violently. The blood-red flames filled the sky as if they were going to turn everything into ashes. In the blood-red flames, a black ancient seal soared in the wind. In an instant, it grew to the size of 10,000 feet. It was like an Archean sacred mountain, containing an ancient, majestic, and mysterious aura. Crack! Bolts of lightning were emitted from the flipping sky seal. The blood-red flames were shattered by the flipping sky seal, and it rumbled towards Shui Yuan Elixir Saint. Oh no! Shui Yuan Elixir Saint's expression changed. He could feel the terrifying power contained in the flipping sky seal, which made his scalp tingle. It was as if he was facing a real sage. He could not resist it at all. Boom! Shui Yuan Elixir Saint gritted his teeth, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. He stretched out his arms, and a three-legged, two-eared cauldron floated up. It also soared in the wind, emitting a blood-red light, and flew towards the flipping sky seal. The million spirits blood cauldron was Shui Yuan Elixir Saint's natal holy treasure. It was both offensive and defensive. Not only could it be used to refine divine elixirs, but it was also an offensive supreme treasure. It could suck people into it and refine them into blood. Buzz. Chapter 1740. Is this the power of the flipping sky seal? It's terrifying, someone said with a trembling voice. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Although they had heard that Ling Xiao had become the master of Battle Hall and wielded the flipping sky seal, the seal had not appeared in the world for 1,000,000 years. Their impression of its power remained in their minds. Now that Ling Xiao had activated the flipping sky seal, not only had he defeated everything, but he had also forced the Blood Origin Elixir Saint to the brink of death. Everyone was truly shocked. This supreme treasure, which had shone brilliantly 1,000,000 years ago, had once again appeared in the world. Boom! The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron was hit by the flipping sky seal's peerless attack. The surrounding blood-red flames exploded one after another. The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron trembled slightly and flew backward. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint felt an unparalleled divine power attached to the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron, causing his body to shake violently. His chi and blood surged, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The flipping sky seal is indeed worthy of its name. Ha ha ha. Long Out Yen, with your cultivation level, how many times can you activate the flipping sky seal? The Blood Origin Elixir Saint laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with incomparably cold killing intent. You can try. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were incomparably calm. He stood in the air, exuding a faint chaotic light. The flipping sky seal floated above his head. Streaks of black divine light enveloped him, forming a thick and mysterious realm. It was as if any living creature in the realm of the flipping sky seal would be crushed into powder in an instant. I don't believe that you can completely control the power of the flipping sky seal. Long Out Yen, go to hell. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. An incomparably violent aura erupted from his body, and the blood-red flames surged into the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. Boom! The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron emitted a dazzling light, and a vast sea of blood surrounded it. Phantoms of 10,000 spirits appeared in the sea of blood, making the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron seem ancient and mysterious. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint seemed to have the power of a world. The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron was activated to the extreme, and it instantly suppressed Ling Xiao. Even the Blood Origin Elixir Saint's face turned pale. Suppress. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he slammed his palm down on the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. Chaotic light filled Ling Xiao's palm. The flipping sky seal flew out from his palm like a stream of light. The thick and terrifying domain power erupted and enveloped the myriad spirits blood cauldron. Clang! The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron was also a perfect holy treasure. When it collided with the flipping sky seal, it instantly released a terrifying sound wave that spread in all directions. The surrounding people felt their chi and blood surging and their bodies trembling violently. Some of the weaker experts even spat out a mouthful of blood. It was too terrifying. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. It was like the aftermath of a battle between two supreme saints. It was terrifying to the extreme. If it wasn't for the de Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation surrounding the area, the entire imperial city would have been reduced to dust by this attack. Boom! At that moment, a monstrous sharp aura burst out. Sword light illuminated the sky. In an instant, hundreds of millions of sword lights rose from the 9 heavens. Every single one of them contained the power to destroy everything. The sword lights illuminated Ji Tian's cold and emotionless eyes. As Ji Tian shouted coldly, the sword lights converged like a long river and shot toward Ling Xiao from all directions. 9th Heaven Sword Fall. The invisible sword chi was condensed from the purest saint power. It was incomparably sharp and could penetrate everything. If it was only 1 or 2 invisible sword chi, a half-saint expert might be able to withstand it. However, when hundreds of millions of sword chi descended, even a 9th revolution half-saint would feel his scalp tingle. This kind of power was not something an ordinary person could withstand. Ji Tian had chosen the right time. It was when the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron and the flipping sky seal were fighting. Ling Xiao's defense was at its weakest. That was why he activated hundreds of millions of invisible sword qi and attacked Ling Xiao with the ninth heaven sword fall. At the same time, the blood yuan elixir saint's eyes revealed a trace of madness. The blood-red flames around him surged and poured into the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. They turned into blood-red chains and tried to trap the flipping sky seal. Senior Uncle Long, be careful. Ni Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong's expressions changed drastically. They couldn't help but exclaim. Ling Xiao was now completely exposed to the sword qi. The power of the invisible sword qi made them tremble. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first revolution half-saint level. Without the protection of the flipping sky seal, how could he withstand it? Lu Yun and Wang Dao's eyes were cold. Their attacks became fiercer and fiercer. They blocked Ni Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong, preventing them from rescuing Ling Xiao. They couldn't wait for Ji Tian to kill Ling Xiao directly. If the Battle Hall Master of the War God Hall was killed by the Holy Son of the Ninefold Imperial Obelisk, then the already weak alliance between the War God Hall and the Ninefold Imperial Obelisk was bound to collapse. This was naturally something that the Five Elements Saint Sect and the Heavenly Curse Sect were happy to see. Is Long Outyin going to die? Everyone was trembling as they looked at the sky with their eyes wide open. One's own strength is the foundation. If one relies on the power of the Supreme Treasure, he will definitely die if he is split apart. Ji Chen and Yun Yang both sneered, their eyes full of disdain. Swoosh! At this moment, a white-clothed figure suddenly soared into the sky. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook violently at this moment. As the white-robed figure appeared in the sky, a huge sword qi that was tens of thousands of feet long swept across the sky like a river, directly protecting Ling Xiao. Puff! 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 Hundreds of millions of sword qi landed on the heavenly river and disappeared without a trace. This is Sword Qi Unstoppable River. You. Who are you? Ji Tian's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at the white-clothed figure in front of him. The Great Heavenly Cycle Formless Sword Array was the cornerstone sacred array of the Great Zhou Divine Kingdom. It contained extremely terrifying power. Only Ji Chufeng, who controlled the Heavenly Cycle Sword, could use all of its power. Even the Crown Prince, Ji Tian, only had partial control over it. In the entire Ji clan, there were less than 5 people who were qualified to activate the De Zhou Tian Invisible Sword Array. Chapter 1741. She was a peerless beauty. She was tall, her skin was as white as snow, and her face was beautiful. Her black hair fluttered in the wind, and she exuded an extraordinary aura like a peerless empress. Ji Feishuan had made her move. The disciples of the Ji clan are getting more and more unbearable. Ji Feishuan stared at Ji Sky and said indifferently. Her voice was cold and calm. Who the hell are you? Ji Sky asked coldly. He felt that the woman in front of him was getting more and more familiar. He was getting more and more suspicious. Boom! In the distance, the cyclic sky seal emitted a blazing light and shattered the blood-red chains in the sky. It then slammed into the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. Countless runes on the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron exploded, and it let out a wail. The light on the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron dimmed a lot before it was sent flying back. Damn it! Blood Origin Pill Saint's face was extremely ugly, and his eyes were filled with pain. The 10,000 spirits blood cauldron was damaged by the cyclic sky seal, and it was not something that could be healed in a short period of time. This made Blood Origin Pill Saint's heart ache, and he was even angrier at Ling Xiao. This guy still doesn't trust me. Ling Xiao ignored the Blood Origin Alchemy Saint as he glanced at Ji Feishuan in the void and said helplessly. Although Ling Xiao was fighting with Blood Origin Pill Saint, how could he not notice Ji Sky? Ling Xiao was confident that he could deal with the sword light that filled the sky. He did not expect Ji Feishuan to make her move. This way, Ji Feishuan's identity would be completely exposed. You are. Impossible. How can you still be alive? Didn't you die 1,000,000 years ago? Ji Sky's body suddenly trembled as though he had thought of something. He looked as though he had seen a ghost, and his voice was trembling violently. He finally remembered where the familiar feeling came from. It was because he had seen Ji Feishuan before. To be exact, he had seen Ji Feishuan's portrait. 1,000,000 years ago, she was the most talented princess, the most promising person to inherit the throne of the great Zhou dynasty. She was known as the hope of the Ji clan, Ji Feishuan. However, didn't she die 1,000,000 years ago? How could she still be alive? I died 1,000,000 years ago. Ji Chufeng must have told you this, right? He's really something. Ji Feishuan said faintly as a cold glint flashed across her eyes. Everyone's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Who exactly was this white-clothed woman? Listening to the meaning of Ji Tian's words, he seemed to know this white-clothed female. Could it be that she was also a member of the Ji clan? No one had any impression of the Ji clan from 1,000,000 years ago. Earlier, when Ji Feishuan activated de Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation and dissolved the sword qis that filled the sky with the momentum of the sword qi's unstoppable river, everyone saw it and felt that Ji Feishuan's identity was extremely mysterious. Ji Feishuan, as a member of the Ji clan, why are you helping the wicked? No matter what you have experienced in the past 1,000,000 years, you are still a disciple of my Ji clan. Could it be that you want to betray your clan? Ji Tian said as he stared coldly at Ji Feishuan. His eyes were filled with indifference. Ji Tian could already see that Ji Feishuan's cultivation was only at the first revolution half-saint realm. Although he did not know what Ji Feishuan had experienced in the past 1,000,000 years, a first revolution half-saint realm cultivation was nothing in his eyes. Even if he could control part of de Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation, Ji Tian was confident that he could defeat Ji Feishuan. Betray my clan. Are you worthy? Ji Feishuan said coldly. Then, she looked in the direction of the imperial city with a deep and cold gaze. In an instant, she let out a long roar that shook the sky. Ji Chufeng, get out here. Rumble. Streaks of sword lights were like swimming dragons as they revolved around Ji Feishuan. Her white robe and hair fluttered in the wind as her aura instantly soared. Wow! Mother, you're so powerful. The life source beast, Whitey, widened its eyes as it laid on Ji Feishuan's shoulder and said in a childish voice. Everyone was shocked. Who was Ji Chufeng? The divine emperor of the great Zhou divine nation was rumored to have reached the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm several 100,000 years ago. His strength was terrifying. Although he had yet to become a saint, his battle strength was not weaker than a saint. There were even rumors that Ji Chufeng could have become a saint long ago. It was just that he had been suppressing his cultivation for some reason. In Tiandu City, Ji Chufeng wielded the sword of Zhou Tian and could activate de Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Even if a saint came to Tiandu City, he would probably die in Ji Chufeng's hands. This woman called Ji Feishuan actually asked Ji Chufeng to get out here. Rumble. Not long after Ji Feishuan's voice fell, she saw clouds rolling in the sky above the imperial city in the distance. Rays of multicolored light shone in all directions, and the void in all directions trembled violently. A terrifying aura rose up. It was as if some kind of immemorial divine beast had awakened, emitting waves that made people's hearts palpitate. A figure with a monstrous aura appeared in the sky above the imperial city. There seemed to be a rainbow bridge under his feet. In an instant, he pierced through the void and arrived above the imperial garden. Ji Feishuan, my good niece. So you're still alive? It was a middle-aged man wearing a black dragon robe, green dragon boots, and a flat imperial crown. His face was dignified and indifferent, and his body emitted a vast and mysterious aura. He calmly looked at Ji Feishuan with a trace of surprise in his eyes. It's Divine Emperor Ji Chufeng. He actually appeared. Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. His Majesty actually said that Ji Feishuan is his niece. How is this possible? I remember now. 1,000,000 years ago, it was said that the divine emperor's position should have been inherited by the princess at that time, and she became the empress. However, for some reason, Ji Chufeng inherited the divine emperor's position. This is interesting. Could there be some hidden story? Everyone discussed softly as their gazes fell on Ji Feishuan and Ji Chufeng. Ji Chufeng? A divine light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. He realized that Ji Chufeng's aura was incomparably terrifying. It was far beyond the blood origin pill saint, and it was actually not much weaker than Huang Tailai. However, for some reason, Ji Chufeng's cultivation was still at the 9th revolution half-saint. It was as if he could suppress it, and he had yet to attain the saint realm. This was an extremely terrifying person. Ji Chufeng, I'm back. I'm afraid you didn't expect this, right? 1,000,000 years ago, you killed my father and seized the throne. You killed your brother and sister-in-law. Do you dare to admit your crimes? Chapter 1742. What? Killing his brother and sister-in-law? Could it be that the previous divine emperor was killed by Ji Chufeng? Everyone was shocked by Ji Feishuan's words. Legend had it that the previous divine emperor of the great Zhou divine nation was extremely talented. He had cultivated to the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint early on and was hailed as the most promising person in the Ji clan to become a saint. However, the great calamity 1,000,000 years ago engulfed the entire divine world, and the previous divine emperor had died in the calamity of the demon race. Now, according to Ji Feishuan's words, the previous divine emperor's death had a hidden story. Everyone's gossipy heart began to burn fiercely. Ji Chufeng's expression was very calm, as if he wasn't angered by Ji Feishuan's words at all. He glanced indifferently at Ji Feishuan and said, "My good niece, you've misunderstood. Your parents weren't killed by me. They died in the hands of the demon race experts. Since you've returned, you're still the princess of the great Zhou divine nation. However, the life source beast is an inauspicious object, so you should hand it over to me for safekeeping." Ji Chufeng casually refuted Ji Feishuan's words. Everyone became somewhat suspicious. If Ji Chufeng had been furious, they would have thought that the previous divine emperor's death had something to do with him. However, Ji Chufeng's casual words made them somewhat doubtful. An inauspicious object? Ji Chufeng, so your goal is still the life source beast. However, the life source beast belongs to Hall Master Long of the War God Temple. If you want it, you'll have to ask him if he agrees. Ji Feishuan sneered, her eyes filled with ridicule. Of course I won't agree. Ji Chufeng, since you know that it's a life source beast, you should know how precious it is. If you take it just because you want it, where is my War God Temple? Ling Zhao said indifferently with a trace of sharpness in his eyes. The War God Temple's Hall Master wasn't any weaker than the divine emperor of the great Zhou divine nation. In fact, he was even stronger. Therefore, Ling Zhao didn't put Ji Chufeng in his eyes. Hall Master Long, the life source beast belongs to my race. As long as you're willing to return it, the great Zhou divine nation will be eternally grateful. Ji Chufeng said slowly. It belongs to your race? You must be mistaken, right? I was the one who cut it out from a chaos stone. What does it have to do with you? Ling Zhao didn't give Ji Chufeng any face. Ling Zhao naturally believed Ji Feishuan's words. Ji Chufeng killed his brother and sister-in-law and seized the throne. Although such a person appeared to be dignified, he was actually the most despicable and shameless person in the world. Therefore, Ling Zhao did not have a good impression of him. Everyone knows about the relationship between this life source beast and our Empress of Life. This life source beast should have been left behind by our Empress of Life. It belongs to the Ji clan. If Palace Master Long doesn't return it, then don't blame me for personally taking action. Ji Chufeng stared at Ling Zhao expressionlessly, but his voice was filled with unquestionable determination. Oh. I really want to experience the strength of the great Zhou divine nation's divine emperor. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Young man, it's better to be humble. If you're too arrogant, you won't have a good ending. Although you have the flipping sky seal, your cultivation is too weak. If I attack you, you will definitely die. Therefore, I advise you to hand over the life source beast and avoid physical pain. Ji Chufeng's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he spoke faintly. Cut the crap. If you want the life source beast, then let's see if you have the ability. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of strong fighting spirit as he spoke without the slightest fear. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook as the flipping sky seal shone brightly and floated above Ling Zhao's head. It was enshrouded in a faint chaotic aura and emitted a vast and ancient aura as if it could suppress the heavens and turn the earth upside down. Ling Zhao's aura merged with the flipping sky seal and began to soar. Very good. Palace Master Long, in that case, don't blame me for being impolite. Ji Chufeng said coldly. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire Tiandu city seemed to tremble. Sword Qi rose up and gathered around Ji Chufeng. The heaven and earth trembled and gathered into a vast river that enveloped the entire Tiandu city. The sword light was incomparably sharp and seemed to form a vast world of swordsmanship. Everyone trembled and felt their hearts turn cold. De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array was completely activated. Long Outyan wants to fight Divine Emperor Ji Chufeng. He's really arrogant and conceited. Ji Tian has only grasped part of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array, and it's already so terrifying. Not only has Ji Chufeng grasped the array's power, but he also has the supreme holy treasure Zhou Tian's sword. Long Outyan will definitely die. The ignorant are fearless. Long Outyan is simply stupid. Everyone trembled as they spoke. No one was optimistic about Ling Xiao. The power of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array was too terrifying. It seemed to be able to tear apart heaven and earth and bury everything within. It was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao, Ji Chufeng's strength is too terrifying. This is his home ground, so we shouldn't fight him head-on. Later, I'll use the life source beast to open the Musashi Mountain. Let's get the secret technique of life first. As long as I can get the secret technique of life, I'll be able to seize control of the Zhou Tian sword from him. At that time, killing him will be as easy as slaughtering a dog. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao with a trace of worry in her eyes. Don't worry, I won't fight him head-on. However, I'll have to test Ji Chufeng's current strength. Otherwise, even if you get the secret technique of life, it'll still be difficult for you to compete with him. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice. Ji Feishuan's body trembled as a trace of gratitude appeared in her eyes. So, Ling Xiao was fighting Ji Chufeng because of her. Ji Feishuan took a deep breath as a trace of sharpness flashed in her eyes. She was ready to open the Musashi Mountain at any time. After all, Ji Chufeng's strength was unfathomable, and Ling Xiao might not be his match. Sword descending 9 heavens. Ji Chufeng said indifferently. His voice was incomparably ethereal as if he was a saint above the 9 heavens. His words contained an incomparably mysterious and terrifying power. Boom! In an instant, the sky was filled with blazing sword lights. They were like stars that traversed hundreds of millions of miles of the void. They were densely packed, and no one knew how many thousands of them were shooting toward Ling Xiao at the same time. The sword lights pierced through the void, causing the surrounding heaven and earth to tremble violently. The incomparably sharp sword lights contained a destructive power that was more than 10 times stronger than the sword descending 9 heavens that Ji Tian had used previously. Let's fight! Ling Xiao's eyes were blazing. In an instant, he soared into the sky. His qi and blood surged to the sky, forming a mysterious resonance with the flipping sky seal. The flipping sky seal contained a kind of energy fluctuation that could suppress everything. With a rumble, it met the sword light that filled the sky. Boom! A terrifying divine light bloomed and instantly drowned the heaven and earth. Only a vast expanse of whiteness was left in front of everyone's eyes. Chapter 1743. Chaotic chi filled Ling Xiao's body, and the flipping sky seal formed a mysterious resonance with him. Runes sprinkled down and covered his entire body. The sword rays that filled the sky were released, and when they landed on his body, it was as if they were shooting into water. Ripples spread out, but Ling Xiao was not affected in the slightest. Rumble. Ling Xiao's aura surged and the chaotic light bloomed. He rushed out of the sword radiance with the flipping sky seal in his hand. His eyes were extremely sharp and he directly suppressed Ji Chufeng. Slash! A cold light flashed in Ji Chufeng's eyes as he roared. In an instant, the light that filled the sky surged. As his palm fell, it condensed into a huge light sword that was tens of thousands of feet long. It was like a vast galaxy that suddenly slashed toward the flipping sky seal. Ji Chufeng carried the momentum of heaven and earth. Although he was not a saint, his attacks contained the laws of heaven and earth. Every strike was like the power of the origin of sword principle. It was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao was facing Ji Chufeng now, just like facing Huang Tai. Crack! The sword radiance that was tens of thousands of feet long was extremely condensed. It slashed on the flipping sky seal, causing it to tremble violently. Rays of light burst out from it. Ling Xiao also felt an invincible divine power coming toward him. He couldn't help but fly out. Is Long Outyan going to lose? Everyone trembled as they stared at Ling Xiao's figure in the sky. They could see that the flipping sky seal was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first revolution half-saint realm, but the flipping sky seal in his hand was not weaker than a peak 9th revolution half-saint. However, the De Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation was too terrifying. It was even rumored that it had the power to kill a saint after being strengthened by the ancestors of the Ji clan. This kind of power was beyond a human's ability, even with the flipping sky seal. More importantly, the supreme treasure of the great Zhou divine nation, the Zhou Tian sword, had not appeared yet. The De Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation is indeed terrifying. It seems that Long Outyan is going to lose. Shui Yuan Pil Sage's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to Ji Tiandao. Ji Sky's expression was somewhat unsightly. Hearing this, he sneered and said, "Uncle is right. This old man didn't use the Zhou Tian sword. De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array's power is only 10% to 20%. If the Zhou Tian sword was used, even a saint would be slaughtered here. But I'm afraid that the old man will have some thoughts about the life source beast. If that happens, I'm afraid I won't be able to obtain it. Don't worry. After all, you are his son. Even if he is cruel and merciless, he should know that you are the most suitable person to inherit the throne. He'll give it to you." The blood origin pill saint said with a strange look in his eyes. "I hope so." Ji Tian said slowly, but there was still a trace of worry in his eyes. Rumble. The sword lights that filled the sky didn't disperse immediately. Instead, they gathered together in an instant. Wrapped in the power of wind and thunder, they were filled with endless heavenly fire, as if they were going to burn everything and return heaven and earth to chaos. Then, they pressed down on Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal. Ji Chufeng's face was cold. He was like the emperor of the sword. Every move of his could trigger the momentum of heaven and earth. It was extremely terrifying. Boom! Ling Xiao controlled the flipping sky seal to block the sword lights again. However, he and the flipping sky seal were sent flying again. Ji Chufeng can actually merge with the De Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Although his cultivation is only at the 9th revolution half-saint realm, his strength is not weaker than that of a real saint. Ling Xiao thought to himself, his eyes filled with shock. Although he controlled the flipping sky seal, he knew that if he faced Ji Chufeng with his own strength, he would be turned into dust in an instant. He was no match for Ji Chufeng at all. All of this was due to the power of the flipping sky seal. "Master, I can feel that there should be a supreme holy treasure in the Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Once that supreme holy treasure appears, the power of the Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation will increase by 10 times in an instant. It will even have the power to kill a saint. It's not something we can contend against. Thunder Spirit King's voice came into Ling Zhao's mind. The power to kill a saint. It seems that the Ji clan really can't be underestimated. Thunder Spirit King, when will you be able to become a saint? If you become a saint, will you be able to contend with Ji Chufeng? Ling Zhao asked in his heart. Master, I only need an opportunity to become a saint. Perhaps it will take me a few months, a few years, or even tens of thousands of years to become a saint. However, there is an opportunity right now. The Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation was created by the ancestors of the Ji family. With the Tiandu mountain as the foundation, it absorbed the endless energy of Zhou Tian and accumulated an incomparable amount of energy for thousands of years. If I can devour that energy, I will definitely become a saint. However, once I devour that energy, I will definitely be discovered by Ji Chufeng. If he takes out the Zhou Tian sword, we will still have to escape. Thunder Spirit King said excitedly. However, he hesitated in the end. Devour the energy of the Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Thunder Spirit King, you are really daring. However, I like it. Very well, let's do it. Since Ji Chufeng doesn't know what's good for him, let's destroy his Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Ling Zhao's body shook as a trace of craziness appeared in his eyes. Master, don't be rash. With your current strength, you won't be able to contend with Ji Chufeng. Why don't we kill our way into the Wuzong mountain and obtain the secret technique of life? Then, when Ji Feishuan and Ji Chufeng are fighting for the Zhou Tian sword, we will definitely succeed with the power of the devouring formation. Thunder Spirit King quickly advised. No, if we do that, I'm afraid Ji Feishuan will be in danger. No matter what, even if we can't completely destroy the Dezhou Tian's invisible sword formation, we have to weaken it as much as possible. I have made up my mind. Thunder Spirit King, get ready. Ling Zhao said decisively. All right. Master, be careful. Thunder Spirit King sighed in his heart and stopped trying to persuade him. However, Thunder Spirit King was a bit touched as well. Although this master of his was cruel to his enemies and a bit overbearing to himself, he was loyal to the people around him. Following a master like this, Thunder Spirit King did not have to worry about being abandoned at all. Moreover, when he thought of Ling Zhao's peerless talent and unparalleled opportunities, Thunder Spirit King became more and more excited. Perhaps following this master would really allow him to have a glimpse of the extreme realm. Long Out Yen, you are no match for me. I don't want to kill you. Hand over the life source beast and I will let you go. Chapter 1744. Rumble. The sword light that filled the sky converged around Ji Chufeng like a storm of sword qi. Each beam of sword light contained extremely terrifying power, which could make Peak 9 Revolution half-saints tremble in fear. The sword light locked onto Ling Zhao, who was in the center, and would deal a fatal blow to him at any time. Don't even think about it. Ling Zhao sneered, and the battle intent in his eyes rose to the extreme. Since they wanted to fight, he would fight with all his strength. Ling Zhao's blood began to boil. His blood qi rose to the sky like a torrent, exuding a monstrous aura. It was as if an ancient fierce beast had awakened from the chaos, causing the entire flipping sky seal to tremble violently. Dong! 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 The flipping sky seal trembled like a strong heart, causing the surrounding void to tremble. The device spirit of the flipping sky seal, Thunder Spirit King, activated the power of the flipping sky seal to the extreme. In an instant, a vast domain broke out. What? Everyone trembled, as if millions of mountains were pressing down on them. They could not help but kneel down, and their eyes were filled with horror. Only 6th Revolution half-saints and above were able to resist the vast gravitational force. As for those with weaker cultivations, they were forced to kneel on the ground. They couldn't even stand up. Long Out Yen, you deserve to die. Ji Chen and young Master Yunyang were about to explode from anger, and their eyes were filled with humiliation and hatred. The two of them knelt on the ground, suppressed by the vast gravity, unable to stand up at all. Even the Blood Origin Elixir Saint and Ji Tian felt heavy all over, and their eyes were filled with horror. How can Long Out Yen be so strong? Didn't they say that he couldn't use the full power of the Flipping Sky Seal without the Saint Path Resonance? Ji Tian was trembling all over, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Is this the power of the Flipping Sky Seal? I must get it, I must get it. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint's eyes were burning with passion, and he roared madly in his heart. However, this was only the aftermath, because most of the power of the Flipping Sky Seal had been used on Ji Chufeng. This is the power of a domain. A sharp glint flashed through Ji Chufeng's eyes. In his eyes, the seal seemed to have become the center of this world. The vast power of heaven and earth came crashing down, causing the sword lights around him to explode and be annihilated. Ji Chufeng couldn't help but tremble. It was as if he was being suppressed by the terrifying gravity and was about to fall from the sky. This was the power of a domain, and it was a Saint Path domain that only powerful saints could control. Within the Saint Path domain, saints were invincible. Although Ji Chufeng had yet to become a saint, his control of the De Zhou Tian invisible sword array was like controlling a sword Dao domain. Therefore, he was invincible in this domain. Even Ling Xiao, who had the Flipping Sky Seal, was no match for him. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to be able to activate the realm power of the Flipping Sky Seal. Kill! Ling Xiao bellowed, his eyes revealing a trace of monstrous killing intent. The Flipping Sky Seal instantly pressed down on Ji Chufeng. The gravity domain erupted. The power of the Flipping Sky Seal was extremely terrifying. 1,000,000 years ago, the Scarlet Dragon War God had once smashed a real saint to death with the Flipping Sky Seal because of the gravity domain contained in the Flipping Sky Seal. Under that terrifying gravity domain, all existences would be crushed into powder and dust. Even the primordial spirit could not exist. A trace of shock appeared in Ji Chufeng's eyes. He felt that if this continued, the De Zhou Tian invisible sword array would collapse under the gravity domain of the Flipping Sky Seal. The Saint's sword is formless, all swords return to the origin. Zhou Tian is immeasurable, and I am eternal. Ji Chufeng bellowed, his voice shaking the 9 heavens like thunder. Every word formed a mysterious resonance with the surrounding void. Rumble. After the billions of strands of sword chi around him were annihilated, they actually condensed behind him in an instant. It was as dazzling as a small sun, radiating with billions of strands of holy light and emitting an eternal wave of energy. Ji Chufeng's eyes were extremely cold. As he shot a finger sword toward Ling Xiao, the world seemed to be divided into 2 halves. An eternal saint sword emerged from the chaos, emitting majestic, ancient, and mysterious light, and slashed toward the Flipping Sky Seal. It seemed that nothing could block the power of this sword. Whether it was the Flipping Sky Seal, Ling Xiao, or all living things, they would all be crushed by this sword. The entire Tian capital was shaking violently. The energy of Zhou Tian, which had been accumulated for hundreds of millions of years, surged, making the Eternal Saint sword even more dazzling and mysterious. Master, now is the time. Thunder Spirit King, who was in the Flipping Sky Seal, roared. In an instant, the Flipping Sky Seal and the Eternal Saint sword collided. A blazing divine light instantly covered the whole world. Crack! The void directly shattered, like a black abyss that was hundreds of millions of miles long, appearing in the sky. The endless turbulence of the void trembled, as if it was going to annihilate everything into powder. A huge black vortex appeared where the Flipping Sky Seal had been. It was filled with a monstrous deathly aura and contained a vast devouring power. The eternal holy sword and the sword radiance in the sky were all swallowed up by the vortex. Rumble. The Flipping Sky Seal was floating in the black vortex, surrounded by endless chaotic chi. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged on the flipping sky seal, urging it to wantonly devour the power of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation. Ling Xiao even infused the heaven-devouring secret skill into the flipping sky seal, making its devouring power even more ferocious and terrifying. Tiandu City was built on Tiandu Mountain, and the Great Heavenly Cycle Invisible Sword Formation was attached to Tiandu Mountain. Over the years, it had been blessed by the ancestors of the Ji clan, and had extracted vast amounts of energy from the endless void. As Ji Chufeng slashed out with the eternal divine sword, the flipping sky seal found the source of energy and began to wantonly devour it. Thunder Spirit King, who was in the flipping sky seal, seemed to be bathed in milky white Zhou Tian energy, which was the origin of the great ways. At this moment, it poured down like a waterfall, being devoured and refined by Thunder Spirit King. Thunder Spirit King's illusory figure began to solidify, and his aura became more and more powerful and terrifying. The divine sound of the great ways lingered around him, and endless flowers of the great ways fell down. He seemed to have become tens of thousands of feet tall, with purple scales all over his body. His aura became more and more majestic and terrifying. Chapter 1745. Every time Thunder Spirit King refined a portion of the energy, he could feel that his control over the flipping sky seal had increased. Only after he had attained the Tao and become a Saint Realm expert could he completely control the flipping sky seal and become its device spirit. Even if Second Holy Master returned, he wouldn't be able to seize control of the flipping sky seal. Boom! A portion of the vast origin energy that the flipping sky seal had devoured was integrated into Ling Xiao's body, causing his aura to soar. The vast origin energy was incomparably pure, causing Ling Xiao's aura to become increasingly powerful. Soon, he stabilized his cultivation at the First Revolution Half-Saint Realm and even advanced towards the peak of the First Revolution Half-Saint Realm. Long Outyen, how dare you steal the energy of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array? You deserve to die. Ji Chufeng, who had been indifferent, finally changed his expression. He flew into a rage and revealed an incomparably cold killing intent in his eyes. What? Long Outyen wants to steal the energy of De Zhou Tian's invisible sword array with the flipping sky seal? How did he do it? Everyone was stunned. They'd originally thought that Ling Xiao wouldn't be a match for Ji Chufeng at all, and it wouldn't be long before Ji Chufeng defeated him. But they hadn't expected that Ling Xiao would actually be so monstrous. Not only had he blocked Ji Chufeng's eternal sacred sword with his gravity domain, he'd even stolen the energy of the Grand Formation. Martial Uncle Long is really abnormal. Ni Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were speechless and shocked. Due to Ji Chufeng's appearance, the battle between them and Lu Yun Wang Dao had temporarily stopped. Moreover, due to Ji Feishuan's voice transmission, the three of them immediately went to Ji Feishuan's side. For a moment, no one paid attention to them. Senior brothers and sisters, get ready. I'm afraid Ji Chufeng will fly into a rage out of humiliation and use the sword of Zhou Tian. Get ready to enter the martial treasury mountain with me. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Ni Shang and the other two with a strange light in her eyes. Rumble. As expected, Ji Chufeng's aura skyrocketed. He opened his mouth and spat out an ancient sword shrouded in multicolored light appeared in his palm. It was flowing with multicolored light, looking mysterious and translucent. The runes on it flickered as if it contained the shadows of the myriad worlds. It was terrifying. The sword of Zhou Tian was born. With the cyclic sword in hand, Ji Chufeng's aura immediately turned extremely sharp and terrifying. Ling Xiao could sense that Ji Chufeng was currently surrounded by the major heavenly cycle formless sword array. With the heavenly cycle sword in hand, his aura had become as terrifying as Huang Tai's. It made Ling Xiao feel a sense of danger. The power of the entire great heavenly cycle formless sword array instantly increased by several folds. It was terrifying to the extreme. Die! Ji Chufeng roared with a bone-chilling gaze. The heavenly cycle sword flowed with five-colored light as it pierced through the air towards Ling Xiao's glabella. Clang! The sword of Zhou Tian was extremely fast. It contained a sharp light that could pierce through everything. It almost instantly pierced through the layers of protective barriers around Ling Xiao and arrived in front of him. However, Ling Xiao was prepared. The flipping sky seal flashed and blocked the sword of Zhou Tian. Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing rang out, and sparks flew. Ling Xiao only felt an unparalleled divine force attacking him. The flipping sky seal trembled slightly and was sent flying. This sword of Zhou Tian is indeed extraordinary. It's definitely not a low-grade holy treasure. It's at least a middle-grade or even a high-grade holy treasure. Ling Xiao's body trembled. Holy treasures were also divided into low-grade, middle-grade, high-grade, and supreme-grade. However, a flawless holy treasure was extremely powerful and rare. Ordinary people might not know about it. Ling Xiao's flipping sky seal was already a supreme-grade holy treasure. It was a treasure that could suppress the destiny of a holy land. The collision between the sword of Zhou Tian and the flipping sky seal showed Ling Xiao that the sword of Zhou Tian was extraordinary. The power of the sword of Zhou Tian was far greater than that of the blood spirit cauldron of the elixir saint. Whoosh! The sword of Zhou Tian shone brightly. It instantly slashed out tens of thousands of swords in the void. Tens of thousands of sword lights were aimed at the vital parts of Ling Xiao's body, as if they were going to cut him into thousands of pieces. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been killed by the sword of Zhou Tian and been cut into pieces. However, Ling Xiao had completely refined the flipping sky seal. Moreover, the Thunder Spirit King's control of the flipping sky seal was getting stronger and stronger. Therefore, in an instant, the flipping sky seal protected Ling Xiao and released a vast gravity realm, which directly annihilated the tens of thousands of sword lights. Master! With my current cultivation, releasing the gravity realm 3 times is my limit. We can't stay here for long. Let's leave first. The Thunder Spirit King said regretfully. The vast origin energy that he had just devoured gave him a taste of its sweetness. He could even feel that if he was given more time to devour the origin energy, he would definitely be able to become a divine sage. Unfortunately, Ji Chufeng wouldn't give him that time. With the Thunder Spirit King's current cultivation, it wasn't enough to forcefully activate the gravity realm. All right. Ling Xiao said in his heart. He had already forced Ji Chufeng to use all of his strength. The De Zhou Tian invisible sword array and the sword of Zhou Tian had also appeared. Now that Ji Chufeng's strength was equivalent to Elder Huang Tai's, Ling Xiao was naturally no match for him. Buzz! At this moment, a strange fluctuation spread out. The void trembled slightly. The life source beast on Ji Feishuan's shoulder floated up. It looked lively and cute, and its body emitted a powerful aura of vitality. There seemed to be some kind of energy in the void that formed a mysterious connection with the life source beast. Suddenly, the void cracked open. Kacha! A void passageway appeared in front of Ji Feishuan. It seemed to lead to a mysterious world. There was an ancient and mysterious immemorial sacred mountain that emitted a majestic aura of vitality. Let's go. Ji Feishuan made a prompt decision and led Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang into the void passageway in an instant. She also knew that the 4 of them were too weak. Only after they left safely could Ling Xiao escape without any worries. Otherwise, they would only be a burden to Ling Xiao. Therefore, while Ling Xiao and Ji Chufeng were fighting, Ji Feishuan took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to them and opened the martial hidden mountain mystic realm with her life source beast. She decisively brought Enai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong in with her. Whoosh! At this moment, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, he controlled the flipping sky seal and shot towards the void passageway like a blazing stream of light. Musashi Mountain. Ji Feishuan, how dare you betray us? Die. Chapter 1746. Ji Chufeng knew that if Ji Feishuan entered the martial treasury mountain, he would be in big trouble. Rumble. Divine light bloomed in the sky, causing the heaven and earth to tremble violently. Ji Chufeng activated the De Zhou Tian invisible sword array to the extreme. He merged with the sword, the sword merged with the array, and the array merged with the man. A terrifying energy fluctuation was emitted from his body. It gathered on the Zhou Tian's sword and slashed down at Ling Xiao. The majestic sword light was like a heavenly river that spread for millions of miles. The terrifying destructive energy made everyone's scalp tingle as it slashed down at Ling Xiao. This sword could kill a saint. Ling Xiao also felt a sense of fatal danger coming from behind him. If he didn't dodge, he would be severely injured or killed by Ji Chufeng's sword even if he entered the void tunnel. If he dodged, the void tunnel would be destroyed by the sword. At that time, he wouldn't be able to escape from the divine capital. Fight! Ling Xiao roared in his heart as a trace of madness appeared in his eyes. Rumble! As Ling Xiao moved towards the void tunnel, he took out the 9 Heaven Dao Primal Chaos tablets. Like a huge armor, they stacked together and protected his back. At the same time, the Thunder Spirit King activated the Flipping Sky Seal. A vast gravity domain spread out. The Flipping Sky Seal was like an immemorial sacred mountain that contained unparalleled violent energy as it charged towards the Zhou Tian sword. Kill! Don't let him enter the martial treasury mountain. Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saints' eyes flashed with killing intent as they executed their powerful techniques and charged forward. However, the two of them were vicious. They knew that with their cultivation, they couldn't interfere in the battle between Ling Xiao and Ji Chufeng. Therefore, they attacked the void tunnel directly. As long as the void tunnel was destroyed, Ling Xiao would be like a turtle in a jar. At that time, it would be up to them to decide whether he would be killed or cut into pieces. Everyone's heart couldn't help but be on edge. Could Ling Xiao really escape from such an encirclement? If he really escaped, they had to admit that Ling Xiao would accomplish a great feat. His name would spread across the entire divine world and shake all the immortal saint lands. Rumble! The void shattered. The Zhou Tian sword struck the Flipping Sky Seal first, causing it to tremble violently. Dazzling sword radiance bloomed like a small sun. The mighty power of the divine path gushed out and sent the Flipping Sky Seal flying. Ji Chufeng's strength was too terrifying. By powering the major heavenly cycle formless sword array with all his strength, together with the cyclic sword's strength, Ji Chufeng had the strength to slay a sage. Even though the Empyrean seal was extremely terrifying, it was unable to withstand the strike and was sent flying. Following which, Zhou Tian's sword was incomparably sharp. It didn't slow down at all as it slashed down on the 9 Heaven Dao Primal Chaos tablets at the same time. Ling Xiao could only feel an unparalleled god energy surging towards him. Just the aftershock alone caused his entire body to tremble violently. His fleshly body was almost completely destroyed. Puff! Ling Xiao could not help but feel a sweetness in his throat. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, but his gaze became even more crazed and fierce. He did not turn back. Instead, he used this terrifying power to shoot forward like an arrow. Long Out Yen, go to hell! Ji Tian's eyes were blazing with killing intent. Terrifying purple divine light bloomed around him as he punched towards Ling Xiao. An ancient emperor seemed to appear behind Ji Tian. He exuded an invincible aura that could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The essence, qi, and spirit merged into Ji Tian's fist, causing Ji Tian's strength to explode to the extreme. The Blood Origin Elixir Saint also activated the 10,000 Spirits Blood Cauldron. Terrifying saint aura filled the air as it smashed towards the void passage. Those who block me shall die. Ling Xiao roared angrily. His eyes were full of murderous intent. The Flipping Sky Seal in the distance instantly turned into a towering mountain. It rumbled as it came crashing down on Ling Xiao. Crack! Ji Tian's expression changed. His fist was directly destroyed. Although he was powerful, he could not withstand the power of the Flipping Sky Seal. He could only retreat in a sorry state. The Flipping Sky Seal was extremely fast. It traversed the void and collided with the 10,000 Spirits Blood Cauldron just as it was about to smash into the void passage. Boom! The two saint treasures trembled at the same time, and rays of divine light burst out. Ling Xiao also suffered considerable injuries. He spat out another mouthful of blood, and his aura became incomparably weak. However, he still endured it and directly shot into the void passage. Ji Chufeng, I, Long Outyen, will remember what you did to me today. Ling Xiao's voice contained monstrous anger and killing intent. He was about to enter the mysterious Musashi Mountain through the void passage. Long Outyen, you'd better die. Ji Chufeng's indifferent and cold voice sounded. In an instant, the void trembled. The Zhou Tian sword pierced through layers of the void and stabbed toward Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. The Zhou Tian sword was too fast. Ji Chufeng's attack was also extremely vicious and tricky. Even the flipping sky seal could not save Ling Xiao in time. As long as the Zhou Tian sword pierced into Ling Xiao's body, he would definitely die with the power of this powerful holy treasure, no matter how strong his body was. It seemed to be an invincible killing move. Even if Ling Xiao entered the Musashi Mountain, he would only be left with a corpse. Puff! Ling Xiao suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His body exuded a mysterious and ancient aura. A mysterious syllable burst out of his mouth. Freeze! In an instant, it seemed as if the surrounding void had become still. The Zhou Tian sword appeared behind Ling Xiao. The terrifying sword light seemed to be about to pierce through Ling Xiao's body, but it strangely stopped at this moment. It only lasted for a breath's time. However, this breath was enough for Ling Xiao to recall the flipping sky seal and block it behind him. Boom! The Zhou Tian sword and the flipping sky seal collided. Ling Xiao's body trembled violently, and cracks appeared like a spider web. He spat out a third mouthful of blood. His entire body seemed to be dyed red with blood. In an instant, he disappeared into the void passage. That's the power of time. There's a huge secret on this kid. Ji Chufeng stared in the direction where Ling Xiao disappeared with a trace of shock in his eyes. Originally, Ling Xiao had no way to dodge that sword attack. It was almost certain that he would die. However, Ling Xiao managed to dodge it in the end because his Zhou Tian sword stopped for a breath's time. That was the power of time, and also the power of taboo. According to legends, even sages found it difficult to control the power of taboo. Chapter 1747. Father, is that Long Outyen dead? Ji Tian asked expectantly. I don't know. Even if he's not dead, I'm afraid he's severely injured. Tian, I'll forcibly open the martial hidden mountain. All Saint Dao energy is forbidden there, so Long Outyen's cyclic sky seal can't be used. Try to enter, find him, and kill him. As for Ji Feishuan, try to keep her alive. Ji Chufeng stared at Ji Tian and said slowly. Yes, father. Ji Tian's eyes flashed with killing intent as he nodded. So what if they entered the martial hidden mountain? Long Outyen was still a turtle in a jar. Ji Tian had decided that he would kill Long Outyen and take the cyclic sky seal and the life source beast. Everyone, Long Outyen took the life source beast from my clan. Anyone who can bring the life source beast back to me will be taught the complete secret technique of life. Ji Chufeng's eyes flashed as he glanced at Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the other geniuses from other clans. Everyone's body trembled. Then, they became a little excited. That was the secret technique of life, which was ranked at the top of the 108 secret techniques of the universe. It was rumored that it contained the origin of life, and the Empress of Life in ancient times had relied on it to become a saint. However, for millions of years, countless people had entered the martial hidden mountain, but no one had been able to obtain the complete inheritance of the secret technique of life. At best, they had only obtained an incomplete version. Ji Chufeng was the only person in the entire Great Zhou divine nation who had mastered the complete secret technique of life. However, the secret technique of life was the foundation of the Ji clan, and even Ji Tian had not been taught it. Now that Ji Chufeng was willing to offer such a huge bargaining chip for the life source beast, everyone became excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The reverence they had for the War God Temple and the War God Temple Master was thrown to the back of their minds. Anyway, the martial hidden mountain prohibited Saint Dao energy, and Ling Xiao was severely injured. In their eyes, there was no difficulty at all. The only difference was who was lucky enough to find Ling Xiao first. Don't worry, Your Majesty. We'll definitely bring the life source beast out and hand it to you. Everyone expressed their opinions one after another. Their eyes were filled with eagerness to give it a try. Only Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Alchemy Sage had ugly expressions on their faces. This meant that it would be difficult for them to swallow the life source beast for themselves. Rumble. Ji Chufeng stood in the air, exuding an incomparably terrifying aura. Zhou Tian's sword radiated resplendent light, and its aura was terrifying to the extreme. De Zhou Tian's formless sword formation was also pushed to the extreme by Ji Chufeng. Zhou Tian's sword radiated boundless light, and finally, it slashed down in the direction where Ling Xiao disappeared. Crack! The void shattered with a rumble and endless turbulence surged. A mysterious world seemed to have appeared in the shattered void. In particular, a mysterious mountain that seemed to have existed in the primordial times and exuded a majestic vitality that attracted everyone's attention. Mount Musashi, that was the Mount Musashi. Originally, there was still some time before the Mount Musashi could be opened. However, Ji Feishuan had used the life source beast to open the void passage, and Ji Chufeng had memorized the spatial coordinates. He didn't care whether it would damage the Mount Musashi or not. For the sake of the life source beast, he directly opened the Mount Musashi. Let's go. Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the others looked at each other and instantly leaped up, flying toward the Mount Musashi. This was an ancient secret realm. The surrounding chaotic air was filled with misty mist, and there was a powerful spatial boundary. There was only one mountain in this secret realm, the Mount Musashi. The Mount Musashi floated in the chaotic air. It was more than 1,000,000 feet tall, and it was incomparably vast, with no end in sight. Here, ancient trees towered into the sky, old vines coiled around, waterfalls flowed, and exotic flowers and plants flowed. It looked like a peaceful fairyland, filled with a faint mist that bloomed with thousands of rays of light. The mountain was ancient and majestic, and there were also powerful beastly roars coming from it. It vaguely seemed to have arrived in the ancient mythological era. In a valley surrounded by dense forests, a small lake was hidden. It looked so clear that one could see the bottom, like a mirror. Beside the lake lay a young man covered in blood. He was currently unconscious. It was Ling Xiao, who had entered the Mount Musashi. However, the thick smell of blood on Ling Xiao's body spread out, as if it had attracted something. Crack! In the distance, tree branches snapped, the earth shook, and the dense forest swayed. A huge black snake as thick as a bucket swam over. Its triangular head seemed to be made of black iron, and there was a silver sarcoma on it. It flicked its tongue, and its eyes were filled with bloodlust and coldness. The black scales on its body clanged, emitting a cold light. The huge black snake was hundreds of feet long, and it swam toward Ling Xiao. When it smelled the thick smell of blood and the majestic vitality contained in it, its eyes revealed a trace of passion. It opened its mouth, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao. Crack! At this moment, a small black seal shadow flew out and floated above the head of the huge black snake. It exploded with a majestic devouring power, and began to devour the vitality of the huge black snake. The huge black snake's eyes revealed a trace of fear. It wanted to struggle, but it found that it could not move at all. Soon, its vitality and flesh were sucked out by the small black seal. Its body shriveled, and finally, it became a pile of bones. In the Mount Musashi, the flipping sky seal could not be used. The small black seal was transformed by the Thunder Spirit King. Although he was a weapon spirit, he had not become a sage, so he was not restricted. The majestic blood and vitality were poured into Ling Xiao's body, and it made Ling Xiao's weak aura stronger. Soon, Ling Xiao slowly woke up from his coma. Master, you're finally awake. The Thunder Spirit King's surprised voice came into Ling Xiao's mind. This is, the Mount Musashi. Ling Xiao looked around, and when he sensed the situation in his body, he could not help but laugh bitterly. The situation in his body was really terrible. This time, Ling Xiao was a little too careless, and he suffered an unimaginable injury. His physical body was almost destroyed, his primordial spirit was dim, and the saint energy in his body had dried up. He was like a porcelain full of cracks, and he would break at the slightest touch. That's right. Master, this is the Mount Musashi. Master is now seriously injured, and we need to find a place to heal first. However, this place contains a rich aura of vitality, and there must be treasures of heaven and earth. As long as we can find some treasures of heaven and earth, Master's injuries will be healed quickly. The Thunder Spirit King said. Okay. Then let's heal first. Ji Chufeng will definitely not let this go. I'm afraid that there will be people entering the Mount Musashi soon. Let's leave this place first. Ling Xiao said slowly. He forced himself to activate the heaven-shrouding secret skill, and concealed his aura. He was like a moving mountain rock, and did not emit any aura of vitality as he slowly moved into the depths of the forest. Chapter 1748. There is a layer of mysterious energy covering the Martial Keep Mountain. All the aura of the holy path is forbidden. Holy treasures cannot be used here because they are afraid of destroying the Martial Keep Mountain. Ling Xiao guessed in his heart. He used the heaven-shrouding secret skill to hide his aura and headed towards the depths of the Martial Keep Mountain. The entire Martial Keep Mountain was like the prehistoric times. It contained a majestic vitality. The ancient trees, flowers and grass all contained a strong vitality. It was as though they were about to turn into spirits and gain their own intelligence. The spiritual mist that filled the surroundings was absorbed by Ling Xiao. It was nourishing his body slowly and alleviating his injuries to a certain extent. The flowers and grass that could be seen everywhere were comparable to spiritual medicine in the outside world. It was very mysterious. Master, I can feel that the vitality in the mountain in front is very strong. There should be some heavenly treasure. Let's go and take a look. Thunder Spirit King's voice suddenly sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. Thunder Spirit King's cultivation was extremely strong. He was close to becoming a sage. Although he could not control the flipping sky seal, his divine instinct was very strong. He could feel that there was a strong vitality in the mountain in front of him. I can feel it too. However, heavenly treasures are guarded by strong demonic beasts. We have to be careful. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the mountain in the distance and said slowly. Above the mountain, there were clouds and mist. It looked very mysterious. There were a few ancient pine trees looming in the clouds, and Ling Xiao could feel that there was a strong and obscure aura. Ling Xiao passed through the dense ancient trees and followed the winding mountain path. Soon, he arrived at the top of the mountain. The aura of life became denser and denser, and the surroundings were filled with mist. It looked peaceful and mysterious. There were many broken stones on the mountain peak, and in the center, there was a clear spring. The water rippled like nectar, and in the middle, there was a white snow lotus with 9 petals. The lotus seeds were sparkling and translucent, and it was filled with resplendent light. This is the snow lotus of creation. It is indeed a good item. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a tinge of surprise. The snow lotus of creation was an origin sacred medicine. It contained the strength of life origin. It was almost lost in the realm of the gods. Ling Xiao did not expect to see the snow lotus of creation in the Martial Keep Mountain. The snow lotus of good fortune could be used to refine the elixir of good fortune, which was rumored to be able to extend the life of a saint. It was an extremely precious origin sacred medicine. However, Ling Xiao didn't rush forward because there were many gigantic skeletons in the surroundings of the clear spring. They were all extremely terrifying demonic beasts, but for some reason, they had all died here. Master, Was it done by the guardian demonic beast of the snow lotus of good fortune? The Thunder Spirit King was also slightly shocked, because even he couldn't sense the aura of the guardian beast. Ling Xiao also felt a looming danger. However, the location of the danger was very vague and he did not know where it came from. Therefore, Ling Xiao was very cautious and did not immediately go to pick the snow lotus of creation. Of course. Ling Xiao nodded. He even used the power of the wordless heavenly book to search for traces of the guardian monster. To be able to hide from Ling Xiao's perception, it was clear that the guardian demonic beast was extraordinary. Now that Ling Xiao was heavily injured, it was better to be cautious. Master, let me test it for you. Thunder Spirit King said. Then, a purple shadow flew out from Ling Xiao's mind and tried to grab the snow lotus in the air. Buzz! Just as the Thunder Spirit King was about to touch the snow lotus of good fortune, waves of ripples suddenly appeared around the snow lotus of good fortune. It formed a misty chaotic enchantment, blocking the Thunder Spirit King outside. Swoosh! At the same time, a faintly discernible shadow suddenly appeared behind Ling Xiao, emitting a terrifying wave of energy, and pounced on him. Go away! A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as if he had expected this. He roared and a powerful sound wave spread out, containing a trace of the power of time. That shadow suddenly trembled as if it was frozen in the void. Then, a purple lightning shot out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows and hit the shadow directly. Kacha! Thunder Spirit King controlled the power of thunder origin. Although he was greatly restricted in the Musashi Mountain, the power of this attack was still extremely controlled. It made the shadow twitch and reveal its original form immediately. It was a black bat. It looked very ugly and ferocious. The bat's wings emitted a strange wave which covered its whole body. It seemed to be faintly discernible as if it was one with the void. Roar! The bat emitted a mysterious sound wave from its mouth. It actually dispersed all the purple lightning around it. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and bit toward Ling Xiao. Bastard, you're courting death! The Thunder Spirit King shouted. His whole body seemed to have turned into a ball of purple lightning. The light was extremely bright, like a purple whirlpool. Instantly, it covered the black bat. The bat dashed left and right amidst the purple lightning. It issued a terrifying sound wave that made people's mind tremble. Its strength was incomparably terrifying. It was comparable to an ordinary high-level semi-sage expert. No wonder so many demon beasts had died here. Presumably, this black bat had sucked their flesh and blood dry. A blood-sucking bat? I didn't expect there to be such an ancient species in the Musashi Mountain. It must be the guardian demonic beast of the snow lotus of good fortune. Ling Xiao thought to himself. While Thunder Spirit King was in a deadlock with the black bat, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He reached out his hand to grab the snow lotus of good fortune. Ling Xiao's injuries were extremely serious. However, this snow lotus of good fortune contained the power of life origin. As long as he could swallow it, his injuries would be healed quickly. However, just as Ling Xiao was about to touch the snow lotus of good fortune, he suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of danger. Kacha! The snow lotus of good fortune suddenly emitted a bright light. Streaks of auspicious air surged and divine light rose. There were even divine chains of order which stretched out from it and tied Ling Xiao up in an instant. The snow lotus of good fortune turned crimson in an instant, as if it had been drenched in blood. It looked strange and terrifying, as if it had opened its bloody mouth and pulled Ling Xiao over, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao in one gulp. Oh no! This is not the snow lotus of good fortune. This is the blood demon lotus of good fortune. Ling Xiao's body shook. His eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Chapter 1749. Blood-red petals bloomed and wrapped around Ling Xiao's body. Blood-red tentacles stretched out from the petals and began to devour the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. It turns out that the corpses of those demonic beasts weren't caused by the blood-sucking bats. They were caused by the blood demon lotus. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer he was. The blood demon lotus was also an origin sacred medicine. However, it was rumored to be a sacred object of the devil world. It could devour the flesh and blood of living creatures. Moreover, it was good at camouflage. It could disguise itself as various heavenly treasures. It was rumored that even a saint would find it difficult to discover its true form. Ling Xiao was even more shocked that there was a sacred object of the devil world in the Musashi Mountain. However, you want to devour me? You really don't know the meaning of death. Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. His eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Rumble. The space between his eyebrows shone brightly. The power of the wordless heavenly book was instantly activated by Ling Xiao. An ancient and mysterious light gushed out and enveloped the blood demon lotus. Ah, Ling Xiao clearly felt that the blood demon lotus trembled violently after the wordless heavenly book's aura appeared. It emitted an incomparably terrifying fluctuation. Moreover, it emitted an extremely sharp sound wave. It was so terrifying that Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness shook involuntarily. His vision turned dark. If it weren't for the wordless heavenly book protecting his sea of consciousness would have exploded and his primordial spirit would have been shattered by the sound wave. The blood demon lotus was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao felt that it had already given birth to a weak spiritual intelligence. It was like a child. Its true strength had reached the peak of the half-saint realm. It was extremely terrifying. However, it still couldn't escape the power of the wordless heavenly book. Buzz! The wordless heavenly book became extremely excited when it sensed the power of the blood demon lotus. It began to devour the power of the blood demon lotus wantonly. The blood demon lotus didn't seem to have the slightest resistance in front of the wordless heavenly book. Its only move was that incomparably terrifying sound wave divine ability. Unfortunately, it was useless against Ling Xiao and was easily neutralized. The wordless heavenly book didn't devour all the power of the blood demon lotus. Instead, it poured the purest life origin into Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Like rain after a long drought, the boundless life origin energy fused into Ling Xiao's body, flowing through his limbs and bones, rapidly healing his injuries. Ling Xiao's damaged body gradually recovered, and his qi and blood became stronger and stronger. In the end, his qi and blood surged like a great river, and his aura also began to recover. Streaks of resplendent light enveloped him, even stirring up a terrifying storm around Ling Xiao, attracting all the life energy in the air and fusing it into Ling Xiao's body. There can be no construction without destruction, only construction after destruction. I can make use of this opportunity to transcend the second nirvana tribulation. A hint of understanding appeared in Ling Xiao's heart. Crack! Ling Xiao's healed body exploded with a boom, turning into resplendent light. It was filled with a mysterious presence of chaos. Although Ling Xiao had just broken through to the first revolution half-saint realm, he had accumulated a lot of power. Previously, he had devoured the power of Zhou Tian's invisible sword array, which had greatly increased his strength. And this serious injury had given him an opportunity to make a breakthrough. Ling Xiao's mind was decisive. Since he had come out of the God of War's world, he had always been courageous and diligent. He had a tempered heart, so his cultivation had been able to advance by leaps and bounds. The blood demon lotus was also a sacred herb of origin. Although it didn't contain life origin energy like the snow lotus of good fortune, it still contained boundless life energy. A sacred herb of origin was extremely useful for a saint. Naturally, it wouldn't be a problem for Ling Xiao to use it to break through to the second revolution half-saint realm. Ling Xiao's body was radiating resplendent light, exuding a mysterious nirvana qi, but there was also a mysterious fluctuation of indestructibility. It wasn't difficult for Ling Xiao to transcend the nirvana tribulation. He had cultivated the indestructible holy technique. Not only was his body strong, but he could also control the tribulation energy. As long as his cultivation was sufficient, it would be much easier for him to break through compared to others. It was just that his body was too strong, and the nirvana tribulation was much more terrifying. The blood demon lotus was quickly devoured by the wordless heavenly book, but its boundless life origin was poured into Ling Zhao's body, helping him to quickly transcend the nirvana tribulation. After a round of battle, the Thunder Spirit King had also killed the vampire bat. When he saw Ling Zhao's current situation, he couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. He quickly set up a boundary to protect Ling Zhao's aura, so as to prevent other demonic beasts from being attracted. He began to guard Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao's body, primordial spirit, Godhead and small world were all shattered, turning into the most fundamental particles. There was a mysterious tribulation energy between them, undergoing the intertwining and tempering of the life and death energy. However, the indestructible seed of calamity was like a small purple sun, floating in the position of Ling Zhao's heart. It was mysterious and unfathomable, with a mysterious fluctuation of indestructibility. Rumble. The tribulation chi that filled the sky was quickly refined by Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao's nirvana tribulation was nearing its end. In the divine light that filled the sky, chaotic mist filled the air. A new physical body appeared in the void. It looked perfect and flawless, exuding a mysterious chaotic divine brilliance. I've finally broken through. I still have the great blood demon lotus. Otherwise, even if I could break through this time, my vitality would be greatly damaged. The breakthrough this time is still a little rushed. Ling Zhao heaved a sigh of relief, but there was a tinge of joy in his eyes. He had accumulated a lot of energy, so naturally, the energy he needed to break through was even more massive. If it wasn't for the great blood demon lotus, even if Ling Zhao could break through and rebuild, his vitality would be damaged. After all, his injuries this time were too severe, and the breakthrough was indeed a little rushed. However, now that Ling Zhao had broken through to the second revolution half-saint, he felt that his entire body had become more compatible with the Tao of heaven and earth. His entire body exuded a mysterious aura. More importantly, the injuries on his body had completely healed, and his entire body was filled with a strong sense of power. Congratulations, Master, for recovering from your injuries and making great progress in your cultivation. The Thunder Spirit King said joyfully. It's all thanks to your protection. It's time to meet up with Ji Feishuan and Ni Shang. If we can obtain the secret skill of life, we might be able to find the secret of the Martial Keep Mountain. At that time, you can also become a saint. Let's go. Chapter 1750. The Musashi Mountain was majestic and connected the heavens and the earth. It was filled with chaotic mist. Small mountains rose and fell one after another. The ancient trees were lush and green. It looked ancient and peaceful. Ling Zhao concealed his aura with the heaven-shrouding secret technique and headed to the highest point of the Musashi Mountain. According to the information that Ji Feishuan told him, he had to undergo a test if he wanted to inherit the secret technique of life. There was a jade wall of life at the top of the Musashi Mountain. Only there could he comprehend the secret technique of life. Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, and the others should have reached the top of the Musashi Mountain by now. Chirp. Just as Ling Zhao was about to leave, he suddenly heard a piercing sound from the clouds. It contained a majestic demonic aura and was extremely terrifying. At the same time, a powerful beast roar could be heard. A mountain in the distance shook violently. Rocks flew everywhere and the void shook. There was an intense battle going on. What a powerful demonic aura. I'm afraid it's a demonic beast at the peak of the half-saint realm. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Master, demonic beasts at the peak of the half-saint realm are extremely terrifying. We can't use the sky-flipping seal now. I'm afraid we're not their match. Let's leave this place quickly. The Thunder Spirit King advised. Let's go and take a look. I can feel a powerful life aura. It's even stronger than the myriad demonic blood lotus. I'm afraid there's some heavenly treasure. Let's go and take a look. Ling Zhao said slowly. Then, he carefully passed through the clouds and swept towards the mountain. Rumble. A snow-white tiger that was hundreds of feet tall appeared. Its fur was pure white and emitted a dazzling light. At this moment, it was upside down and was as sharp as a steel needle. It opened its bloody mouth and its eyes were filled with hatred. It suddenly pounced forward. Chirp! The sound of metal being pierced rang out as a cyan figure dodged. Suddenly, the earth trembled violently. A huge boulder weighing millions of Jin exploded with a loud bang. It was crushed by the white tiger's claw. The cyan shadow appeared in midair. It was a cyan divine eagle. Its cyan wings were like swords, flowing with a brilliant light. Its claws shone with cold light. Its eyes were cold and arrogant as it stared at the white tiger below. Although the green figure did not look big, only a few dozen feet long, the white tiger felt as if it was facing a great enemy. Ling Xiao could clearly see that there were 3 deep wounds on the white tiger's back and abdomen. Blood was seeping out of the wounds, making it look extremely miserable. Get out of my territory. The white tiger spoke in human language, its eyes filled with hatred. Hand over the good fortune snow lotus or die. The cold voice of a woman came out of the green godly eagle's mouth. It was like the clanging of a sword, carrying an unquestionable fluctuation. The snow lotus of good fortune is my treasure. You, don't even think about it. The white tiger roared, its voice shaking the heavens. It's the snow lotus of fate. When Ling Xiao heard the conversation between the white tiger and the green godly eagle, his body could not help but tremble. He immediately looked to the side of the white tiger. There was a spring that was about 1 zhang wide, flowing with a sparkling and translucent holy liquid. A snow-white lotus floated on top of it. It looked translucent as if it was carved out of flawless jade. It was very exquisite. The petals were sparkling and translucent, and the lotus seeds on top were as bright as the stars. Anyone who glanced at it would be reluctant to move their eyes away. A vast and majestic aura of life spread out, making people feel comfortable all over. Ling Xiao did not expect that he would really encounter the snow lotus of fate. The myriad transformations blood demon lotus that he encountered previously was disguised as the snow lotus of fate. Even Ling Xiao was fooled. Fortunately, he had the wordless heavenly book at the crucial moment and refined the myriad transformations blood demon lotus. In reality, the myriad transformations blood demon lotus was more useful to the experts of the devil race. However, to Ling Xiao, it was far inferior to the snow lotus of fate. If I can get the snow lotus of fate and concoct the eternal creation pill, I might be able to heal the injuries of the void pierce stage, Chong He and Lu Wenzheng, and restore them to the saint realm. When he thought of this, Ling Xiao's heart was burning with passion. His eyes that were looking at the snow lotus of fate revealed a trace of blazing light. Master, these 2 demonic beasts are ancient species. Their strength is unparalleled. Moreover, their intelligence is not weaker than the human race. If you snatch the snow lotus of fate from their mouths, they will definitely go berserk. The Thunder Spirit King said slowly. It's fine. With the heaven-shrouding secret technique, they won't be able to discover my chi. When both of them are injured, I'll be the fisherman. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. Rumble the white tiger and the green godly eagle were both hot-tempered. Soon, an intense battle broke out. However, these 2 demonic beasts obviously valued the snow lotus of fate very much. Thus, when they were fighting, they carefully avoided the snow lotus of fate. Roar the demonic aura around the white tiger rose. With a leap, it leaped over 1,000 feet. Its claws were extremely sharp, forming a few sharp blades in the void. It suddenly grabbed towards the green godly eagle. Although the green godly eagle was not as big as the white tiger, it was extremely agile. Moreover, it had extreme speed. A green shadow flashed past, causing the white tiger's attack to miss. The green godly eagle's beak was like a sharp sword. It shot out a ray of green light and instantly left a bloody mark on the white tiger's body. The white tiger's eyes became even redder. It was so angry that it roared. The wounds on its body made it even more ferocious. Then, the blood in its body rose. In an instant, the snow-white fur on its body shot out like steel needles towards the green godly eagle. Asterisk swoosh asterisk asterisk swoosh asterisk asterisk swoosh asterisk. Those strands of fur were like extremely sharp swords that could pierce through everything. They covered the sky as they shot towards the green godly eagle. Although the green godly eagle had extreme speed and dodged most of the snow-white light, it was still hit by some of them. There was a sound of metal clashing. Its wings trembled. In the end, a few of the green feathers dimmed and fell off. Boom! The white tiger seemed to be very cunning. When the green godly eagle was enveloped by the snow-white light, it took the opportunity to soar into the sky. It directly slapped down on the green godly eagle's body. The green godly eagle's body emitted a green light. It was like a mysterious barrier. However, it was still shattered by the white tiger. In the end, its body trembled as it flew out. Asterisk roar. Asterisk. The white tiger let out a terrifying roar. It was like a huge tsunami. The sound waves spread out and enveloped the green godly eagle. At the same time, it opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow the green godly eagle. Asterisk buzz asterisk. Chapter 1751. The white tiger was shocked. It did not expect the green godly eagle to be able to unleash such a powerful attack. It retreated quickly, and at the same time, spat out a white ball of light. Boom! The ball of light exploded. The azure sword light was extremely sharp. It cut through the air and cut off all the fur on the white tiger's neck, leaving behind a deep gash. It had almost chopped off the white tiger's head. Roar! I'm going to kill you. The white tiger was exasperated. Its eyes were bloodshot and filled with hatred and killing intent. It charged towards the green godly eagle again. However, the godly cyan eagle was extremely fast and its attacks were extremely fierce. In front of the godly cyan eagle, the white tiger seemed a little clumsy. More and more wounds appeared on its body, but it was unable to touch the godly cyan eagle at all. It roared in anger, but there was nothing it could do. The wounds on the white tiger's body increased, and its breath became weaker. Master, it looks like the white tiger is going to lose. Should we attack? Thunder Spirit King said. Ling Xiao was about to say something, but his eyes suddenly flashed. It looks like we're not the only ones who want to be the fishermen. There are many people who want to get the melting snow lotus. Ling Xiao could feel that there were a few extremely obscure auras approaching from a distance. It was difficult to detect them, as if they were using some kind of artifact to conceal their auras. They had stopped in a different direction and were actually planning to reap the benefits of the battle. There were 5 young geniuses. Each of them had a powerful cultivation. Ling Xiao was even familiar with 2 of them. They were the disciples of the Blood Origin Elixir Saint, young Master Yunyang and Prince 19, Ji Chen. Senior brother Yunyang, is that the snow lotus of creation? Ji Chen's eyes lit up and said with surprise. Yes, it is the snow lotus of creation, the legendary origin sacred herb. However, the strength of the 2 demonic beasts is terrifying. I'm afraid we can't handle them. Young Master Yunyang's eyes were blazing as he spoke slowly. However, the strength of the 2 demonic beasts is similar. When they are both injured, we can snatch the snow lotus of creation. They won't be able to catch up with us. Ji Chen said confidently. You're right. We must get the snow lotus of creation. However, to ensure that nothing goes wrong, when the 2 demonic beasts are both injured, please lead them away. We can snatch the snow lotus of creation. Young Master Yunyang said slowly. Uncle Black was the skinny 6th Revolution half-saint behind him. He was also the most powerful one among the 5. He had been injured by Gao Yang before. Now, not only was his aura strong, but he even showed signs of breaking through to the 7th Revolution half-saint. Young Master, don't worry. Leave it to me. The skinny old man said slowly as a cold glint flashed across his eyes. The world shook as the battle between the white tiger and the azure godly eagle grew more and more intense. However, the white tiger was already at a complete disadvantage. Its aura was growing weaker and weaker. Even the speed at which it attacked had slowed down. Zheng! It! Roar! The white tiger roared, and a terrifying sound wave exploded. Its eyes were filled with both shock and anger. It felt a fatal danger from the azure godly eagle's sword. The white tiger tried to dodge. Demon chi rose around its body and superimposed a powerful defensive barrier. However, it was annihilated by the green godly eagle's sword. Puff! The green godly eagle's sword pierced through the white tiger's chest. Blood spread out. The white tiger's aura weakened rapidly. Even its vitality began to fade. The white tiger's huge body smashed into the mountain. Suddenly, the mountain shook violently. The white tiger's eyes began to dim. Master, it seems like the white tiger is going to die in the green godly eagle's hands. Are we still not going to make a move? Thunder Spirit King said. The green godly eagle was an ancient variant green godly eagle. Its strength was unparalleled. Even the white tiger was killed by it. Not necessarily. Let's wait. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. Even Thunder Spirit King felt that the white tiger was going to die. However, after Ling Zhao practiced the incomplete secret technique of destiny, his divine sense was very strong. He felt that there was a terrifying power brewing inside the white tiger's body. It was like a volcano that was about to erupt. The green godly eagle was going to suffer a great loss. Sure enough, Ling Zhao saw the green godly eagle rushing towards the white tiger. The eagle's beak emitted a cold light. It directly pecked at the white tiger's chest. Because there was the white tiger's demon Dan, it emitted a blazing light. It was as bright as a small sun. As long as the green godly eagle swallowed the white tiger's demon Dan, its strength would increase greatly. However, when the green godly eagle got close to the white tiger's body suddenly emitted a terrifying killing intent. The green godly eagle's body stiffened. It felt a fatal crisis. It immediately wanted to flap its wings and fly away. Whoosh! 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 The white tiger's terrifying chi and blood rose up at this moment. In a flash, it transformed into a bloody chain. It directly wrapped around the green godly eagle. It was as thick as a horned dragon. It was incomparably sturdy. Roar! The white tiger's eyes emitted a trace of cold killing intent. Its bloody mouth suddenly opened and emitted a terrifying tiger roar that shook the heavens and earth. A huge sound wave bullet, which looked crystal clear, but contained an incomparably violent power, exploded with a loud bang. It directly exploded on the green godly eagle's body. Rumble! That terrifying sound wave exploded. Immediately, the surrounding mountain rocks were turned into fine powder. A few towering ancient trees rumbled and exploded. This area was enveloped by a bright divine light. The green godly eagle's incomparably miserable voice came from within. What? Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen were both taken aback, their eyes filled with fear. They were just preparing to snatch the good fortune snow lotus, but they didn't expect the white tiger to be so sinister. It purposely used a serious injury to lure the green godly eagle, and then exploded with such a terrifying attack. That kind of power made their scalps go numb. If they were affected, even if they had powerful protective treasures, if they didn't die, they would still be seriously injured. Both sides are injured. This is a good opportunity. Quickly snatch the good fortune snow lotus. Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen's eyes lit up. The two of them instantly rushed towards the good fortune snow lotus. Chapter 1752. The snow lotus of good fortune had disappeared from the spring. The snow lotus of good fortune was still swaying in the spring, but it disappeared in the blink of an eye. Even Yunyang and Ji Chen didn't know how it disappeared. Who is it? Who stole the snow lotus of good fortune? Young Master Yunyang's and Ji Chen's eyes turned blood red in an instant as they growled, their voices filled with monstrous rage. The two of them were not stupid. They had already guessed that there were other people hiding in the surroundings. Taking advantage of the time when the white tiger and the green-scaled eagle were both injured, they quietly stole the good fortune snow lotus, even hiding from everyone's perception. Rumble. A resplendent divine light blossomed, and within that terrifying sound wave, the shadow of the green-scaled eagle appeared. At this moment, the green-scaled eagle was incomparably miserable. Its entire body was covered with cyan feathers, and its body was covered with bloody scars. Its breath had also become extremely weak. Although the white tiger had tricked the green-scaled eagle, it had also paid a huge price. Its body was badly mutilated, and it was severely injured. One of its front claws was even broken. Both sides were injured. The white tiger and the green-scaled eagle were both completely injured. However, they both sensed that the snow lotus of good fortune had disappeared, and they also saw young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen's figures. Despicable humans, hand over the snow lotus of good fortune. This king will tear you into pieces. Roar. The white tiger's eyes became incomparably blood-red, and a terrifying aura filled the air. It locked onto young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen's group of 5. In an instant, it roared and directly pounced on them. You all deserve to die. The green-scaled eagle also had a burning killing intent in its eyes. Even though it hated the white tiger, the snow lotus of good fortune was even more important in its heart. Today, it was used by a few despicable humans, and even stole the snow lotus of good fortune. This immediately made it go crazy. The two great demonic beasts rushed over at the same time. Although they were both seriously injured, their ferocious aura caused young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen's faces to change greatly. Your Excellency, please listen to us. The snow lotus of good fortune wasn't stolen by us. Someone had already stolen it before we came. Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen were so depressed that they were about to vomit blood. They quickly retreated while they hurriedly explained. Despicable human, you still want to deceive me at this time? You are courting death. How could the white tiger believe their words? After all, it hadn't sensed anyone else's aura at all. After the good fortune snow lotus disappeared, young Master Yunyang, Ji Chen, and the other 4 appeared. The white tiger was certain that the good fortune snow lotus had been stolen by them. Leave quickly, young master. I'll stop them. Uncle Black's eyes were filled with seriousness. His whole body was filled with holy aura. A black long sword appeared in his palm, and in an instant, he blocked the white tiger and the green-scaled eagle. Ah! I'm so angry. If I find out who stole the snow lotus of good fortune, I'll tear you into pieces and make sure you'll never be reincarnated. Young Master Yunyang was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. How unkind. Stealing the good fortune snow lotus was one thing, but the key point was that young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen had to take the blame for him. Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen both felt that they were extremely unlucky. But why would the white tiger and green-scaled eagle listen to their explanations? A fierce battle broke out in an instant. At this moment, the culprit had already quietly left the mountain peak and was heading towards the top of Mount Musashi. Master, you're too evil. This time, I'm afraid Yunyang and Ji Chen will vomit blood from anger. Thunder Spirit King chuckled. I also didn't think that it would be them. Whether or not these two bastards can escape from the hands of the white tiger and green-scaled eagle will depend on their luck. Ling Xiao touched his nose and said innocently. When the white tiger tricked the green-scaled eagle, Ling Xiao very decisively made his move. His heaven-shrouding secret technique was very mysterious. In addition to the terrifying shockwave caused by the white tiger's sonic bomb explosion, no one noticed how the snow lotus of good fortune disappeared. Ling Xiao took the snow lotus of good fortune and left. Only when young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen appeared did Ling Xiao notice these two old acquaintances. What happened next could be imagined. Not only did Yunyang and Ji Chen lose everything, they didn't get the snow lotus of good fortune. Instead, they had to take the blame for Ling Xiao. Regarding this, Ling Xiao didn't have any psychological burden at all. In the wordless heavenly book, the snow lotus of good fortune was sparkling and translucent. It was untainted by even a speck of dust. It emitted a majestic aura of life and a mysterious aura. It was incomparably mysterious. After obtaining the snow lotus of good fortune, Ling Xiao's heart was relieved. As long as he could refine it into the regeneration pill, it would definitely be of help to his 3 senior brothers' injuries. If his 3 senior brothers' injuries were healed and they could recover their saint path cultivation, the strength of Battle Hall would greatly increase. At that time, Battle Hall's right to speak in Battle God Temple would also increase by a lot. Along the way, Ling Xiao felt a lot of powerful auras. They were at least half-step saints. They all appeared in the hidden Martial Mountain. Some people were searching for something, and some people were fighting for all kinds of heaven and earth treasures. Isn't that Long Outyen seriously injured? Where is he hiding? We've searched for so long, but we still haven't found him. Who knows? Maybe he has already been rescued by Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, and the others. Ni Shang Fairy's strength is unparalleled. She's not someone we can deal with. Perhaps only Ji Tian, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao, the 3 holy sons, can deal with her. Sigh, it seems that this secret technique of life is not fated to be with us. That's not necessarily true. Let's hurry to the Jade Wall of Life. As long as we can get a place there, we have hope of comprehending the secret technique of life. As for Long Outyen, it's fine if we can't find him. After all, he's the master of Battle Hall. It's inevitable that Battle God Temple will be angry if we offend him. Everyone's discussion entered Ling Xiao's ears. Master, I didn't expect that Ji Chufeng to be so deranged. He dares to issue a bounty and doesn't hesitate to use the secret technique of life as a reward to get everyone to capture you. Thunder Spirit King said slowly. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. Ji Chufeng, he's really courting death. After we help Ji Feishuan obtain the complete secret technique of life, we'll think of a way to seize control of the Zhou Tian's sword and de Zhou Tian's invisible sword array from Ji Chufeng. Then, we'll kill him. Master is right. That Ji Chufeng is relying on the power of the Zhou Tian's sword and de Zhou Tian's invisible sword array. Without these two, he's like a tiger without its teeth. He'll definitely die. Thunder Spirit King sneered. Let's go. Ignore these people. I have a feeling that Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang will be in danger. There will definitely be a fierce battle at the Jade Wall of Life. Chapter 1753. At the peak of the Martial Mountain. Primal chaos mist pervaded the surroundings. Tens of thousands of rays of multicolored light and thousands of rays of auspicious light emanated from it. It emitted a majestic aura of vitality. Everyone felt comfortable all over, and even their life essence became a little richer. There was a snow-white jade wall at the peak of the mountain. It was hundreds of feet tall and looked crystal clear. It was enshrouded in a faint primal chaos aura. It was ancient and mysterious, as though it contained a vast world. This was the Jade Wall of Life, the most mysterious existence in the entire Martial Mountain. No one knew the origin of the Jade Wall of Life. It was only vaguely recorded that the Jade Wall of Life was related to the Life Empress and contained the Life Secret Technique. If one could obtain the Life Secret Technique, they would be able to understand the mystery of life and death and obtain a powerful life force. In front of the Jade Wall of Life, there were 36 stone futons in the shape of Zhou Tian. They formed a mysterious connection with the Jade Wall of Life. If one wanted to comprehend the life secret technique in the Jade Wall of Life, they had to sit on the stone futons. At this moment, Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were sitting on the 4 stone futons at the front. The Jade Wall of Life hasn't been fully activated yet. It will only be activated when the 36 stone futons have an owner. I hope Long Outyen can come as soon as possible. Ji Feishuan had a trace of worry in her eyes. Although she was confident in Ling Xiao, she knew how powerful the Zhou Tian's sword and de Zhou Tian's formless sword array were in Ji Chufeng's hands. That kind of power wasn't weaker than a saint and could even kill a saint. Junior sister Ji, don't worry. Martial Granduncle Long will definitely be fine. Ni Shang comforted, but she was also worried in her heart. That old man Ji Chufeng is simply courting death. He actually dares to go against Martial Granduncle Long. When we report back to the sect, we'll directly destroy the great Zhou divine nation. Gao Yang said indignantly. Cough cough. Junior brother Gao, there's no need to destroy the great Zhou divine nation. Just kill Ji Chufeng. When junior sister Ji inherits the throne, the great Zhou divine nation will become our war god temple's territory. Wu Xiong coughed lightly. Senior brother Wu is right. Ha! Junior sister Ji, don't mind him. Just kill Ji Chufeng. Gao Yang was taken aback. He knew that he had said something wrong and immediately laughed. You want to kill my father with just the likes of you? Ji Feishuan, hand over the life source beast and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. At this moment, a cold voice resounded in the void. Whoosh! 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 Ji Tian, the blood origin pill saint, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao flew to the top of the Mount Martial treasury. Their eyes were cold as they stared at Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, and the other two without concealing the killing intent in their eyes. Ji Tian. You guys came pretty quickly, but with just you? A cold glint flashed across Ni Shang's eyes as she said plainly. Saintess Ni Shang, my 9 imperial obelisk is on good terms with the war god temple. I don't wish to affect the relationship between our two sections. Ji Feishuan is a member of my Ji clan and this is an internal matter of our great Zhou divine nation. I hope you won't interfere. Ji Tian stared at Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang as he spoke coldly. Internal affairs? I don't think so, right? Junior sister Ji isn't just a member of your Ji clan. She's also a disciple of the war god temple. Moreover, since you know that the 9 imperial obelisk is on good terms with the war god temple, you still dared to attack Martial Granduncle Long and even collude with Lu Yun and Wang Dao? Ni Shang sneered with a trace of mockery in her eyes. Saintess Ni Shang, I advise you not to refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Only death awaits you if you go against me. Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? A cold glint flashed across Ji Tian's eyes. Whoosh! 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 More than a dozen powerful silhouettes rushed up the hidden martial mountain. They stood behind Ji Tian, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao. These silhouettes had powerful auras. All of them had the cultivation of semi-sage realm. Their auras were biting cold, and their gazes were incomparably cold. Moreover, as time passed, more and more people flew to the top of the Mount Martial treasury. They looked at Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, and the rest with hostility. Of course you dare. Why wouldn't you dare? You even dared to attack Martial Granduncle Long, let alone us. However, as long as we're here today, no one can touch a hair on junior sister Ji. Ni Shang sneered with a sharp gaze as she spoke resolutely. Although Wu Xiong and Gao Yang did not speak, they protected Ji Feishuan in the middle with eyes filled with powerful battle intent. Brother Ji, there's no need to talk nonsense with them. Just attack and kill them all. I'd like to see how they're going to protect Ji Feishuan. Lu Yun and Wang Dao also sneered. The two of them looked at each other and saw the killing intent in each other's eyes. Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were the 3 saints and saintesses of the war god temple. They were also the future hope of the war god temple. If they were all killed here, the war god temple would be greatly weakened. At that time, if they could instigate the 9 imperial obelisk, the war god temple would be greatly weakened. Ji Tian, I'll stop Ni Shang for you. Let Lu Yun and Wang Dao stop Wu Xiong and Gao Yang. You quickly capture Ji Feishuan and snatch the life source beast. As long as you obtain the life source beast, you'll definitely be able to obtain the complete life secret skill. Moreover, I'm guessing that the treasure left behind by the divine illumination crown prince is also with Ji Feishuan. The blood origin pill saint's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to Ji Tian. Alright. Uncle, don't worry. With Ji Feishuan's weak cultivation, she'll definitely die. Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Ji Feishuan, if you still admit that you're a disciple of the Ji clan, then hand over the life source beast and plead guilty. Otherwise, don't blame me for cleaning up the clan today. Ji Tian lifted his head and stared at Ji Feishuan as he spoke indifferently. Cleaning up the clan. Both father and son are indeed sanctimonious and equally despicable. Let's see who's the one cleaning up the clan today. Ji Feishuan laughed mockingly, but her gaze became increasingly deep and serene. The life source beast lay on her shoulder and exuded a dense and majestic life aura. It enveloped Ji Feishuan in a faint layer of holy light, making her look mysterious and ethereal. Attack! For some reason, Ji Tian had a bad feeling in his heart. However, he still shouted coldly and took the lead to pounce on Ji Feishuan. Rumble! A powerful Saint Dao aura exploded as the blood origin pill saint, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao instantly charged toward Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang to stop them from continuing to protect Ji Feishuan. Get lost! Enai Shang's eyes were extremely cold. Her white robe fluttered as if she was a fairy from the 9 heavens. She slammed her palm toward the blood origin pill saint at an extremely fast speed and arrived before him in the blink of an eye. Chapter 1754. The blood origin pill saint was shocked and exclaimed, "The art of aging heavens and earth?" He did not expect Enai Shang to have cultivated the art of aging heavens and earth to such a level. Her attacks contained the power of time. Although the blood origin pill saint was one realm higher than Enai Shang, he was still wary of her at this moment. Blood spirit saint technique. The blood origin pill saint was on high alert. His saint aura filled the air and rays of blood-red light spread out as if forming a vast sea of blood. He struck out with both of his palms and set off a huge blood-red wave that collided with Enai Shang. Crack! Blood-red lightning bloomed. Enai Shang's figure was ethereal. She wanted to go around the blood origin pill saint and save Ji Feishuan. However, the blood origin pill saint had already predicted Ji Feishuan's actions. Blood-red chains rushed out from the sea of blood and instantly wrapped around Enai Shang's body. After seeing Enai Shang perform the art of aging heavens and earth, the blood origin pill saint knew that it would be difficult for him to take her down. Therefore, he only hoped that he could block Enai Shang and prevent her from saving Ji Feishuan. That was enough. On the other side, Wu Xiong and Gao Yang were also blocked by Lu Yun and Wang Dao. After all, Lu Yun and Wang Dao were both 8th Revolution half-saints, which was one realm higher than them. Although the two of them had begun to fight with their lives on the line and the battle was very intense, they were still unable to break through Lu Yun and Wang Dao's defense. For a moment, Enai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were all entangled. Meanwhile, Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of malevolence as he grabbed the life source beast on Ji Feishuan's shoulder. Ji Feishuan's expression was very calm as if there was not a trace of worry. When Ji Tian was about to grab the life source beast, the life source beast let out a sharp howl. Roar! In an instant, the void trembled and chaos rolled. The life source beast was like a wave of water as it instantly turned into a ray of light and merged into Ji Feishuan's body. Mother, Whitey's power is for you. Kill this bad guy. The life source beast's crisp voice rang out, and Ji Feishuan's aura began to skyrocket. Rumble. Ji Feishuan originally only had the cultivation of a first revolution half-saint. However, after the life source beast merged with her body, her aura began to soar from 2nd revolution half-saint to 3rd revolution half-saint all the way to 7th revolution half-saint. Only then did it slowly stop. Ji Feishuan stood in the air with an extremely mysterious aura around her. There seemed to be a seven-colored divine radiance flickering in her eyes, causing her to be filled with exuberant vitality as if she had grasped the origin of life. With a smile, 100 flowers bloom. Ji Feishuan's ethereal voice reverberated between heaven and earth as if there was a mysterious resonance with the entire mountain. She lightly slammed her palm towards Ji Tian. Rumble. In an instant, there seemed to be flowers blooming around Ji Feixian. The dazzling radiance illuminated the surroundings as the petals flew towards Ji Tian. Heaven and earth had become a sea of flowers. Not good. Ji Sky's expression changed greatly, and his figure retreated rapidly. The sea of flowers in front of him contained a power that made his scalp tingle. The power of the blooming flowers gathered together, and like an invisible wave, it pushed towards Ji Sky. Lightning Emperor Technique, kill. 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 Ji Tian roared as his eyes were filled with ice-cold killing intent. The purple divine radiance around him was dazzling as bolts of lightning converged and formed an incomparably mysterious lightning emperor true body behind him. Then, a huge purple palm struck out and collided with the sea of flowers. Rumble. The void shook violently as the primal chaos mist exploded. Dazzling divine radiance enveloped the entire sky above the martial hidden mountain. The mysterious sea of flowers shattered, but the lightning emperor true body behind Ji Tian also shook violently, causing Ji Tian's eyes to be filled with incomparable horror. When Ji Tian unleashed the power of the lightning emperor's true body, he could even fight against a 9th revolution half-saint. However, he was unexpectedly repelled by Ji Feishuan, who was only a 7th revolution half-saint. Even his lightning emperor's true body suffered considerable damage. Fury. Cold sea. An indistinct voice came out from Ji Feishuan's mouth again. The center of her brows shone brightly as if a mysterious figure was chanting. Her voice contained a sigh of vicissitudes and vicissitudes of life that penetrated through the long river of time. Rumble. The sea of flowers that filled the sky exploded, converged in the void, and actually turned into an incomparably vast sea of enormous waves. Wrapped in a vast vitality, it surged violently and pressed down towards Ji Tian. That vital energy seemed to want to assimilate everything into the most quintessential energy of life, and it contained the vastness and majesty of life. Break for me. Ji Tian roared furiously as he poured all the saint energy in his body into the lightning emperor true body, causing the lightning emperor true body to emit a boundless radiance. Dazzling bolts of lightning that were as thick as mountains rushed towards the sea of waves. Crack. The figure of the Thunder Emperor's true body was submerged by the sea. Terrifying divine light blossomed. This was a kind of vast power of heaven and earth that wanted to wash everything away and make all living things return to the beginning of life. Even the Thunder Emperor's true body seemed to be unable to withstand this kind of power. In the end, it returned to nothingness at the same time as the vast sea, shattering apart. Puff! Ji Tian could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. He also suffered a huge backlash when the Lightning Emperor true body was destroyed, causing his aura to weaken. You're not Ji Feixian. Who are you? Ji Tian's voice trembled. The Ji Feixian in front of him looked extremely unfamiliar. Her temperament was extraordinary, and there was a sense of vicissitudes and heaviness that came from countless years of vicissitudes. Moreover, the aura on Ji Feixian's body was getting stronger and stronger, like the rising sun, emitting a dazzling radiance. Cry. Heaven and earth shake. A third mysterious voice came out of Ji Feixian's mouth. In an instant, heaven and earth shook, and chaos filled the air. A vast force of heaven and earth pressed down on Ji Tian. A chilly wind howled as if the heavens were angry and wanted to turn Ji Tian into dust. When the third voice came out, Ji Feixian seemed to be unable to withstand this force. Her body trembled slightly, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Even her body was trembling slightly. So what if you borrowed the power of a life source beast? Ji Feixian, only I deserve to have a life source beast. You don't deserve it. You should have died 1,000,000 years ago. Go to hell. Ji Tian roared furiously, his eyes filled with monstrous killing intent.